Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is your boy Dre, obviously back on the Dre Sanchez YouTube channel. You know I say it every time, but we just can't quit. Back at it again here in Denver in this Boeing 767-300. This rendition is from Flight Factor, and we are taking this all the way over to San Francisco in California, the Bay Area. Looks like we may have a little bit of bumpy weather and potentially gusty winds in Cali. We're going to see how it all turns out. So there we go. Hope everybody's week has been going well. I enjoyed a nice weekend Sunday flight with you guys, so can't stay away. Originally, I was going to have my boy Greenlight fly today, but business comes first, so he couldn't make it out the office in time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So today we are going to be on Pilotedge versus being on VATSIM. I feel like I need to get some return on investment on what I pay for Pilotedge, so we're going to fly this on Pilotedge since it's in their purview of air traffic control and see how it goes. Of course, with all of my flights, the goal is to not just rush and have the plane already ready to go, so when you guys come on, which would be a quicker stream, I like to do it from the beginning, so each stream, if anybody's flying the aircraft for the first time, or if they've been flying it for a while, they could take some snidbits from what I do, either and use that or not use that, but just know that it's there. So that's the whole goal. So let us not belabor this at all, and let's get on the flight deck. And so this aircraft is obviously cold and dark. You can see the great model work they did on making it look a little more rustic in use with the avionics screens, kind of imperfect. It's got imperfections around the aircraft to show that it is been in flight rotation for some time, so they do a wonderful job doing that. This aircraft has a tablet, which is also, I guess, your electronic flight bag, or EFB, as you can see here. So with that, like most of the payware aircraft, it is an interface to do many things, including connect the ground power unit. This aircraft to load it, we also need the fuel truck. We're also going to need the stairs and the passenger bus. And in order to load the cargo, little accent there, I'm the cargo worker, so I have an accent, the cargo, we're going to put the loader unit. And then, of course, in order to do anything, we need to open some doors. So let's open some doors. And then before we load the aircraft, we're going to go right up top. Let's go ahead and get our battery to the on position, and then standby power. And then because the GPU or ground power unit's on, we need to, let's tie the buses first. And then we can get some ground power, and you'll see everything else come into play. We can arm those emergency lights, which is one of the checklists. And of course, let's go down and get our nav lights on, and then we're going to get out of here. So of course, then we got to check the ATIS on Pilotedge and all that good stuff. So that is what we're going to do, and for now this is where we'll stop. Let's go ahead and align our IRSs. You want to bring these all as usual to the nav position, and then it'll say on DC or on direct current as far as power is concerned. And then we just come on down here, bada bing bada boom, and we need to tell the aircraft where it's at. It's smart, but it's not that smart. It needs human help to tell the aircraft where exactly we're at. So there you go. Now just give this a second. It comes in. You can just copy this current GPS position, and as you guys know, I like to say the bada bing bada boom. All right, you can hear my kids in here. Got two of my lovely daughters in here with me checking it out. So let's go ahead, before we start loading the plane, let's reference our flight plan. So you guys can see here, Boeing 763 and 2 hours of flying time. Block fuel is 37,000 pounds, 37,842 pounds. I've added 2,000 pounds of extra fuel, and you can see some of the dynamics there. A more important part that we need to check out, obviously, that I showed you guys in one video. Let's make that a little, let's put it about right here so you can see. Let's check the winds aloft and the weather. This is our sim brief, of course. So you can see there's some weather to us to the east, which there's still may be some stronger prevailing winds. Our route looks pretty clear. We're just going to slip through any type of cloud cover as you see there and head generally on a southwestern, more of a western, but yes, a southwestern heading on over to the airport in San Francisco. And so that doesn't look too bad. Then of course, let's keep scrolling down. Here's our flight plan here. San Francisco, just to get to San Francisco from here alone by itself, nothing else, 23,196 pounds, 2 hours and 13 minutes of flying time, and with a total of roughly about 3 hours and 45 minutes, a little more than that because I added some fuel in there, of flying time. So you can see add the 12, so it's about 342 minutes, or 43 minutes right here as you were, of flying time, with 20 minutes dedicated to taxiing around, which I more than likely will use. Then of course we want to look at our final reserve here, which is 9,000 pounds. I'll put just a 6 in there just to keep it legit. If you guys are saying anything in the chat, I'll be there in a second. And another important thing to notice is our load chart. We're going to have 232 passengers on. Cargo is going to be 30,000 pounds, giving the passengers and cargo aggregated total payload weight of 83,400 pounds. And you can see the rest. So we'll just be calculating 37.8 thousand pounds of fuel. So that's what I'm looking at here, guys. So now we can just very hastily put that information into our electronic flight bag. So let's get there. Once again, there is really no setting to get this EFB up, so it's just pick it out and see, it'll go anywhere you go. So let's go back to operations and ground and start our loadout. 232. Keyboard does become active on these, so you guys can essentially just type it in and push enter. Hello, my lovely wife, love of my life. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for always supporting as always. So I appreciate you. First to check in is the lovely, always co-pilot, but never just the first officer. Definitely the captain of my life. The lovely wife. All right, so now we can again reference the fuel, which we said is going to be, drum roll. I scroll back up, 37.8. So as long as then we'll put the actual weight in there and see if it does any rounding up. So we want 37,842 pounds. Now before I go any further, let me do something, because I sure don't want any surprise failures on this thing. So let's just fix all systems, apply those changes. That way we don't have any surprises. So 232, 30,000 pounds of cargo and 37,842 pounds of fuel. Now that that's taken care of, we can load. So you can see loading the plane is in progress. All right. In the meantime, we're going to keep it rolling. And you can actually just click this off. Let's go ahead and make sure that, I believe we're already logged onto Pilotedge. We just got to get the radios on. So let's do that and get the ATIS. Oops. All right. So we have to turn that on first, and of course we need to find the ATIS frequency. Some of this we'll be doing with our electronic flight bag. Actually, we can do that now. Let me show you how that works. So let's get our electronic flight bag on, and if you have Navigraph, you can essentially connect your Navigraph with your electronic flight bag here, and then you can just simply get to work. So we want to type in KDIN. So I recommend doing this because it makes it easier during the flight, and it also makes it easier for me to show you guys, obviously. All right. So as you can see, we're right there. I believe we're at gate Alpha 39, and the ATIS is 3425. So it's already over here, 3425. So let's stop these jams for a moment. That way we can kind of focus in over here. So the way this is going to work, we're just going to turn this on, and we should start getting theirs. There we go.
Departures, contact, clearance, delivery. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Notice to airmen runway 16 left 34 right closed. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Charlie.
All right, Charlie is current.
Denver International Airport. ATIS information, Charlie. 2353 Zulu. Wind 060 at Niner. Visibility 10. Ceiling 10,000 broken. 15,000 broken. Temperature 8. Dew point 5. Altimeter 2957. Arriving runway 34 left, 35 left, 35 right. Departing runways 35 left, 258. Visual approaches in use. ILS runway 34 left, runway 35 left, and runway 35 right approach use. Multiple Arnav Zulu approaches in use. VFR departures, contact, clearance, delivery. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Notice to airmen runway 16 left 34 closed. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Charlie.
Almost want to be done, but I want to double check what
Denver
that
International Airport.
temperature was.
Charlie. 2353 Zulu. Wind 060 at Niner. Visibility 10. Ceiling 10,000 broken. 15,000 broken. Temperature 8. Dew point 5. Altimeter 2957. Arriving runways 34 left, 35 left, 35 right. Departing runways 35 left.
Go ahead and get that off.
8. Visual.
All right, so we definitely have the temperatures 8 degrees Celsius. That's going to be important here. In the meantime, let's just use our static view here, because I tell you what, using these altimeter settings here with the track IR sometimes isn't so fun. So we need to get all the way down to 2957, as you guys heard. So that barometric pressure is definitely lower now that the seasons are changing. So we're doing that. So now we can just come right on back over here. And then let's go ahead and call for our clearance, of course. Cannot be remiss in calling for our clearance, as we are on Pilotedge. So clearance is 1875. So let's get that rolling. 11875. All right, 1875. And let me check one thing here. Okay, perfect. All right, 1875. Here we go, guys. Let's get the clearance, and let me make sure my flight plan is pulled up before I forget what waypoints he's going to be talking about, he or she. And yeah, mic's on because you guys wouldn't be hearing me if it wasn't. Denver clearance, American 318. Information, Charlie on board, IFR to San Francisco. So we shall wait.
American 318, Denver clearance, close San Francisco Airport, course 7, correction, course 6, departure Voaxa, transition is filed. Climb via SID, departure frequency 126.1, squawk 5563.
All right, cleared to San Francisco International is filed. Course 6, Voaxa, transition then is filed. Climb via SID, departure frequencies 126.10, squawking 5563, American 318.
American 318, read correct.
All right, so let's get the squawk in before we forget that. He said it was 5563. Funny thing is, my almost 13-year-old is sitting here and she asked me, Dad, why do you use a notepad? And I said, hey, if you're a pilot and you don't have a notepad, you are wrong. We got a lot of information to get. So she was kind of surprised about that. She's over there laughing. So bada bing, bada boom. Now, if we want to look for our ground frequency, west 127.5 and east 1285. We'll put a runway in, and it's probably going to change, but based off of where we are on the field, let's see here. Why is it not showing our location on the field? Oh, here it is. That's because I wasn't in the right area. So available runways are 3-5 left, 2-5, and 8. You know, I really don't know what he's going to give us. Proximity wise, 3-5 left is definitely a viable solution. We're going to do 3-5 left, and if he doesn't give us that, then so be it. So let's get right to the cat's jammies here and start planning. Again, if he makes any changes, we'll just roll with the punches. So now we want to just come on over here to our route. And hopefully my daughter doesn't keep knocking into the table over here as many times I tell her, watch your feet. You know, kids, man, it's like a broken record. So all you can do is just smile and hug them. Let's see. All right, so let's get our flight number in here, of course. Bada bing, bada boom. Activate that. Now we can go right into our departure. We said that we're anticipating 3-5 left, perhaps. So let's just plug that in. Core 6 with the Voaxa transition. Bam. Over to the route, and I believe we go right into an airway on the next one. Pel cores, Voaxa. Okay, there you go. So then right after that, we go into Quebec 136 airway, where we exit that at Oscar Alpha Lima. And then from Oscar Alpha Lima, we go Inyo, however you say that, which is essentially the transition point on the arrival, but I like to put it in there anyway. And then we can come to departure, or to, now when you come back over here to departure and arrival, it's automatically going to default back to the KDIN departure, so you got to hit index. Now we got to go and select arrivals. We are arriving on the Diamond 5. Here's that same transition. Generally, it's ILS 28 right. We're going to take that from Archie. We're going to execute that. Now we'll check the legs page. And here's that discontinuity. Plug that in, execute, and we'll go on down and make sure that makes sense. As we're pushing back, if we have enough time, we'll go ahead and do the flight plan. In the meantime, passengers are pretty much well getting on board, so we can start doing our welcome messages, of course.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain and crew would like
All
to welcome you
let's
on board
check
this Boeing 767
the chat and keep rolling.
309er.
Chat is
If
looking
you
good,
haven't already done
so let's keep
please throw
rocking
your
on.
carry-on
So now we
luggage
got to get
underneath
the
seat in front
fuel in
of
there.
you
Left click
or in
this
an
gross weight.
overhead bin.
It'll automatically
The
populate
flight crew will do
your
everything
fuel and your
possible
zero
to make
fuel
your
weight.
flight
I said we were going to
comfortable
do
and
about
enjoyable.
6,000 pounds
Explain.org.
of
Step to
reserves,
start
even though the
and
true
flight
number
wish
of
you a pleasant flight experience.
our final reserves was, just want to double check it again, 9,000. Yeah, we'll put 6 in there. Flight level 380, we're traveling from east to west, so those will be even numbers, and of course 75 on the cost index, so that we don't break the bank, but we're not also turtles on the way there. Flaps 5 for these runways, it's more than enough runway. Our outside air temperature, I don't know why I just tried to bypass that, was 8 degrees Celsius. And then now you can tap on the center of gravity, and we get 2.8 on the trim. Let's turn our V speeds on and confirm those V speeds. 39, 45, 53. And while we're thinking about it, let's fix our trim up to 2.8. You just click that armrest once and it'll go up. Okay, let's see. Trims aren't moving. Maybe we need to turn those hydraulics on. So we'll wait here in a second to try to move those trims. Right now they are unresponsive, but the controller's working. So let's just double check that. Normally they'll move for me. We'll get these to the on position. We'll see if they work. I don't think it'll work on the ground power, but let's see anyway. Okay, that's what it was. So they still will. So let's get, and that just shows you this simulation is very well detailed. So I like to go to 5 even, and then we'll count 3 spots. That's about 5 even right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -2. So about right there. Doesn't have to be dead on, but you know you want to make sure that you get it close enough. And then of course in here, to confirm your V speeds, we got to go to our static display again, and we got to pan down. Because what I learned is in this aircraft that in order to have the V speed show up on your primary flight display, of course, for your references, you got to put it in this middle knob. There is TO for takeoff and approach to put the V speeds in, so we'll do it for approach as well. But right now we're only worried about our V speeds. So the first one is going to be 139. You can see on the MFD now you see V1 and you see the number moving. Once you get it set, all you're going to do is hit the top, the set button. That one is set and confirmed. Now we can get 145 for our rotation speed. It's kind of sad the automation doesn't automatically switch it over until the primary flight display, but that's okay. 153 is going to be our next V speed. And we will go ahead and confirm that. And that's it. You're just going to confirm those three. You're not going to do VFTO or anything like that. Just your V1, V rotate, and V2 climb out. And then we are done there, guys. We're doing pretty good. There's not a whole lot more to do. Now that we do have our APU on standby, let's go ahead and start that, of course. As we start that, we can start getting some doors closed and things of that nature. So let's handle that scandal right now. Streak of tiredness all of a sudden here. Let's bring our view here back up while we're thinking about it. And first thing we want to do is obviously you want to close all the doors. All doors are closed. And then of course on the ground we need to get rid of, now that the plane is loaded and all its wonderfulness, get the passenger bus going and the loader unit out of there. Leave the GPU on and let's go up top and see if that APU should be available very shortly. So now it says on. Now it should say APU generator available. It says off. We're going to get it on. And of course we need to turn the bleeds on. Get the isolation valves open. And there you go. So now we need to get rid of the ground power so we're not dragging the GPU back.
Walker 462, contact Phoenix Bridge 128.65.
And you guys definitely let me know if the ATC is coming in too loud. So, what just happened there? The buses are tied. There we go. Hopefully we didn't lose all of our data.
460,
and
Phoenix approach, Phoenix altimeter 2985. Just switch to west ups. Set the visual approach runway.
Okay, we didn't, but we got to redo the route, guys. So, bummer. But we already know what our trims are be, so let's do it one more time. And that's because I thought I had tied those. Boom, boom.
Okay, we'll be expecting visual approach.
Apparently I had missed these two.
Fly heading,
so if that happens, folks, you just got to run down the gamut and do it again. But we already got our V speeds in there. So
are you able to make the 25 right transition from your positioning past the fix?
Put all that information back in there, which will just take a hot second. And that was a shame on me for missing that one piece, but I thought I had tied those buses. Apparently I didn't. Activate that. Let's go back here.
Direct Agla.
If you want me to do that. 6 full Oxa. We said
direct Agla join the 25 right.
Left. Execute. Route. Again. And it's Quebec. 136. Dave, how you doing? Hey Dre, Mall Gaming 101, how you doing? And ATC be fine, Dave said. Post it to Discords. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for and I'm assuming posted to Discords means that you're sharing it out on your Discord channel that we're streaming. I'm assuming that's what that means. At any rate, let's get back into the flight plan. Again, Mall Gaming 101 and Dave McKee and my wife and anyone else joining that's not showing up in the chat. If you're here, thanks for being here, of course. We just had a little snafu where I didn't tie one of the buses, switched it over to the APU power, and lost all of our data. But that's really not an issue because this part here goes so quickly. We just got to make sure those V speeds match up, and we said it was Oscar Alpha Lima. And then from Oscar Alpha Lima, we said Inyo however you pronounce that. I feel like that's like a, you know, some type of special name, you know. I can't think of the name of the artist I'm thinking about, but special name, kind of like Sade Inouye. It's like this could be an artist name. It probably is an artist name. All right, now we need to come back to that index here, guys. Now that I'm done being silly, arrival. Let's do our Diamond 5 again. The artist name there, of course, we're picking ILS 28 right. We're going to pick Archie because I've flown into San Francisco quite a bit, and typically that is the runway of choice. Usually. We get closer, things change, then we'll make that change happen. All right. Back there, boom, 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 3-5 left. That's the initial ref once again. We've already got that in there. We said 6 on the reserves. 380. See, I'm doing this twice for you guys just to make sure you guys knew what was up. So 35. Right there, takeoff. We said it was 8 degrees. We're doing flaps 5. It's 8 Celsius out for now until we push back and check the ATIS and do our flight plan. CG should be 2.8. And then the V speeds are the same that we already confirmed. 39, 45, 53. That's complete. Get this on legs. Clear this message out. And no V speeds in there, so we already know what the deal is. So I believe it was 39. Let's see. It is 39, 45, and 53. Let's do this all over again. First one is 39. Remember, you got to set it. That one's set. The rotate is 145 again. That's set. And out of there, or V2, 153. All right, so V speeds are set once again. And this time we know for sure those buses are tied, guys. I'll check you guys out in the chat here in a minute. Now let's come back and look at the prerequisites for our departure. So back to our charts. And we want to look up our SIDS. Let's see. That's arrivals, reference. Okay, we need to look for approaches. We need to look for the SIDS. Departures on the Coors. I don't know, man, if that's a good name to be having on a departure. You know, there have been some drunk pilots. And Coors is making me thirsty for some reason, even though I don't drink beer like that. I don't even drink alcohol like that. So here's the narrative. If we are leaving 35 left, obviously the top altitude is going to be flight level 230, so we need to start working on that. Of course, let's get our right side flight director on since we're here. And yeah, so climb heading 353 to 5,934 feet, then climbing left turn direct across foams at or below 10,000, then on track 264 to cross IPEL at or above 12,000. So 353 is a magic number. Now that we're thinking about it, let's get the left side flight director on and let's get 353 in there. Bada bing, bada boom. LNAV, VNAV, arm. And that is looking good. Let's go ahead and start our better pushback.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
And we can get all the fuel pumps on now. The APU is appropriately running. We got duct pressure in there. Perfect. Landing altitude is basically, you're just going to put 60 feet. It's basically sea level there, so no worries there. Just got to make sure that the plane depressurizes the way we need it to. So these are all on the auto. Those are already pressed to on. Obviously, the one hydraulic is already active. And yeah, there you go. Let's go ahead and get seat belts and smoking to auto. So we do have some fuel in the center tank, so that's why it says fuel config. This fuel, 8,000 pounds, that's going to probably burn out on departure. We'll get the logo on. flight door is already locked because if you hit this, it says
Looks
unlock.
like the doors and hatches
No
are
worries
closed.
there.
And we're ready to connect.
Let's make sure our yaw dampers are on. They are, and the rest of this stuff we will get going here once we get our aircraft started. All right, guys. So we're going to get the engine page on here because that's going to be the next thing, is monitoring the engine before we get to the status page. And yeah, guys, so far everything is looking good. We don't need to worry about this. This is for VOR stuff, so we don't necessarily need to set it to the heading because we're not programming in a VOR of any sort right now. All right, our flaps 5, I believe top speed is like 250, so we're gonna set this thing for 210. Let's see.
Welcome aboard, Captain. Toes connected. Bypass pins inserted.
Flaps
Go ahead and
5
put the parking brake
is
when you're ready to go.
230, so we'll actually do max of 215. And he's ready for us to kill the parking brake, but we got to get the red beacon on. There is the red beacon, guys. So let's kill that parking brake, and we got to double check the flight plan, and we already looked at the departure, so we got to remember that. So
Here comes the pushback.
So
Line 'em
now
up.
we're gonna put this into the plan mode. We're gonna use our static view again and come back down. Whoa.
Target 462, descend and maintain 5,000.
Whew.
5,000, welcome 462.
Man, that guy did such a gangster turn. All right, so let's slide over a little bit here so we can get a better view. Gonna come in like that, and let's look up like that. Okay, so now that we're on plan, you just hit the legs page, hit it again. Let's see. All right, we're gonna actually have to hit the next button to go to the first one, and now we'll be stepping through. Let's make sure that our range is reasonable, and let's step through this thing. Now, when you're doing this, for anybody that's new to it, where it says center, that's where it's actually at. So it's centering itself right here on the runway 35, which again we know can change. Then you just have to hit this bottom right LSK or line select key, which is step, and we just want to make sure the route looks good. Traveling east, now south, west, now southwest. You want to make sure there's no discontinuities, make sure there's a nice flow, and there you go. There is our final. There's the runway, and then of course you see straight off that turns into your missed approach or your hold. So I'm gonna be honest, guys, to me that looks like a winner chicken dinner. So let's come back over here, put it back into the arc mode, and let me check you guys out in the chat. All right, Grinnin, Bajan, half asleep, just dropping by to give some love. Thank you, Grinnin. Zachy D, hey, I have a question. What are tips in bringing a bigger stream view count? I am new to the sim community. Zachy D, I'm still working on it myself, but all I can say for that, my friend, is
Marker 462, turn left.
make sure you're consistent. Make sure you vocalize your intentions and what your channel is as you're doing videos, and don't try to be somebody that you're not. Be your own self, have your own originality, stick as close to your own creative platform that you want to stick to, and because you want people following your channel that like you for you and what you're doing, not because you're assimilating to some other channel. That's my own advice, because then it will grow. I mean, I don't think any of us really truly that are content creators want to grow a channel when we're basically, you know, submitting to someone else's message or methodology and how they want to stream or get subs and all that stuff. So that's my elevator speech for you, Zach. Hopefully that helps out, and best to luck for you in your streaming
Just about
endeavors.
done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
All right, parking brake is set. We got to redo the altimeter.
And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
All right, a moment's what we have. So 29er57, which we're gonna have to check that ATIS again. 29er57.
November 650 Charlie Lima. Looking for IFR 2 San 2 John Wayne.
Number 650 Charlie Lima, Tucson clearance. I have a full route for you. Advise better to copy.
And 29er57 on both sides. If you don't have that, it'll give you a message that the altimeters don't agree.
You're at Colts. That's
Disconnect.
Charlie. Uniform.
And Dave McKees also know your aircraft helps, as nobody wants to watch someone fumbling around with what to do next, etc. Yeah, Dave's making a good point for you, Zach. Yeah, also kind of be trained up, or at least be confident in the aircraft that you're flying, so if people have questions, they can ask you, and they can also see that you're operating the aircraft correctly. I don't know why this clock is on down here. We'll reset that before we leave. Alright guys, let's go ahead and have a safe flight as we're starting the engines. We're going to do two things. We're going to switch them off, and we're going to come back and have the actually we don't even need to do it like that.
Sure, 125.1 for the
and we'll do it like that for now because this was our clearance. Let's go ahead and keep getting ATIS while we start that engine.
Wind 360 at 10.
So we're going to start the right engine.
10,000, 15,000 scattered. Temperature 7, dew point 5.
Temperature 7 now.
2956. Arriving runway 34 left, 35 left, 35 right. Departing runways 35 left, 258.
Add that fuel in.
Visual approaches in use. ILS runway 34 left, runway 35 left, and runway 35 right approach in use. Multiple RNAV Zulu approaches in use. VFR departures contact clearance delivery. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Notice to airman runway 16 left 34 right closed. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Delta.
Alright, we're going to start that left engine now. Right came up nicely.
Airport. ATIS information Delta.
And this thing is sweet. It'll turn white when you're okay to put fuel in. See, now it just turned white, so that's telling you you can throw fuel in.
Few clouds at 10,000, 15,000 scattered. Temperature 7.
Alright, they're off. There's no ATC right now until I switch the frequency to the correct ground frequency. I believe we're going to be going to the west side of the field, so we'll have to pick the west side ground frequency there. So let me show you guys what that looks like in here. So back to our charts here, and I'm going to check you guys out in the chat, I promise. The way you get out of this, you hit expand again, then you can come back and we can just come back to the airport chart, re-expand that again, bada bing bada boom. And this airport has two ground ramp controllers, west and east. We're going to be coming to the west side of the field, so we'll choose 27.5. And then our tower frequency, which should be hopefully 35 left, is going to be 33.3. Let's do a round robin, it's quicker, and we'll check you guys out here right now. Alright, 33.3. Let's see here. We have Norvcope. Hey, welcome to the stream. Hey, we had a big snowstorm here in Utah. Be careful of icing. Thank you for that, Novacorp or Novacore. Drew Stone, yo, what is cracking? How you doing, Drew? Thanks for checking in. And Mall Gaming says, I'm at Denver right now. Plane spotting, awesome at the truck stop. Nice. And of course, we got Drew greeting Dave. So we're almost out of here, guys. And we'll do some chit-chatting up in the air. And it's like I said, it's not a huge, super long flight. It's about 2 hours and some change. Okay, so we've chosen our ground frequencies. We have our ATIS now on this other side. Our departure frequency, as read back, is 2610. So let's get that crack-a-lacking. So I'll still put it in the other side, but I like to have it as a backup now that we've checked ATIS and we know it's Delta. So we won't click that now, but that's our departure frequency, guys. Now that we're pushed back, we need to get our transponder on to 5563. And the rest, we can just leave this up. We'll start the flight demonstration after we got our taxi, because I don't want too much stuff talking at one time. So there we go. And
Mark 462 hotel departure ground.
This is ground, this is tower.
For cutter.
Marker 462 hotel departing monitor ground.
Okay, while they're still chatting it up, let's get our generators on. Let's finish the up top stuff. And of course, we need to get our engine bleeds on. We need to get this to auto. We need to close those isolation valves. Turn the APU blade off as well as turning the APU off. Generator can come off now, guys.
November 6,
Hydraulics are all
I
on.
heard you correctly there. It's the
Let's
Gulf
see.
Bravo November transition on the Wildcat 3,
Everything's looking
correct?
good there.
Affirm.
Let's go ahead and get our recirculation fans on and get all of our temperatures to auto and our blowers or our fans to auto. And get this here to auto. You see, extinguishes all those lights. Now we need our window heats. Everything else up here is looking good. There's nothing up top to worry about any further than that. We have all of our fuel pumps on. APU is extinguished. APU generator is in the off position. And we just got notice that there's some icing here, so he said to watch out. So let's make sure our icing panel is all good to go. Let's just do a little bit of I don't think we need to de-ice here on the ground, but as we climb, here's our de-icing. We'll go ahead and get that on, guys, because it does look like there's some condition. And there we go, guys. Fuel temperature. One thing we also have to do is it was 2956 now, so we need one click. 2956, and we need one click over here as well. 2956, and if you guys remember, the temperature changed by 1 degree for our takeoff. So now it is actually 7 degrees Celsius. And that's up to date. Everything else is complete. And we'll keep this on legs and this on our initial ref. We've got our V speeds in there confirmed right here on this dash. And now we are taking off flaps 5. So let's select that here. And then we're going to wait for that to indicate. Right here, we'll do our rejected takeoff on the auto brakes. And if you notice right here, we're going to arm the speed brake. Now on your electronic flight bag, we can just really quickly, well, we won't start that yet. Let me get the clearance. Just real quickly breeze to the checklist. Before start, passenger sign set, windows, MCP, takeoff thrust, takeoff speed, CDU pre-flight, rudder, and aileron shim. We'll check that right now. Taxi and takeoff briefing, flight door deck is closed, red anti-collision when light was on. So we all did all that. We were going to do our flight controls check now. Auto brake set, recall checked. Here's the recall right here. The only thing on there is parking brake. Isolation switches are off, which we did. And ground equipment is clear. Dave says, just FYI, Dre, you can turn window heat on even when on the ground. Power as there's electric heating. It does not require engines to be running. Thanks for that, Dave. So basically he's saying the last thing that I turned on was the window heat. Up here, Dave was saying that those are actually it doesn't require any hydraulics or pneumatics. It's electric, so it doesn't require the engine to be running, so you can run it basically. So there you guys go. So the isolation valve we did, switches we got done. We got our bleeds on. So, and then you guys can actually, you know, click all this stuff and it'll turn green. If you haven't done it, it will not. So that's the before taxi. So we'll stop right there and we'll do our flight controls check after we call for ground. And for ground, American 318, information Delta is ready to taxi. Hopefully we get 3-5 left.
American 318 Denver ground, runway 25, taxi via Golf.
Runway 25 via Golf for American 318. Alright guys, so don't panic when that happens. You're just going to come departure and arrival, and you are simply going to select 25 because this is still active, so you don't have to worry about that. So you're just going to select 25. Coors is still active, so you can execute it, but you just don't run right into it. Now that it's right there, you go back to legs. 25 Elf, Weeman, Maynard. Okay guys, so what do you got to do? We have to either way look at our taxi route. So let's check that out, and then we're going to see if those are the right points. So back here to our charts. All right, and he's just saying Golf, so we will turn the aircraft to the right, make a left on Golf, and then there you go. So we'll be heading out, taking a right straight out of here, and then we'll pick up Golf and head left or south to the base of runway 25. In the meantime, another thing that we need to do is we got to come here, look at the Course 6. Now we don't need the whole chart. 25, climb to 263. So let's change that 263 on the heading. .263 and 25 to cross foams, then on track. So that does not look correct. Let's see, climb heading 263. Let's get rid of this. Let's make sure this is the right chart. And this is the Coors. So Coors built Olsen. So let's go back down here. That doesn't look like, why is not looking correct? Okay, so if it doesn't look like that, so just do this. Now we can come back into departure and arrival. Let's reselect everything again. Boaxa. And that's why I say you always got to go back and check this, guys. Now let's select 25. Now we're going to execute that. Now we need to check legs for discontinuities. No discontinuities. And that's it. Foams, IPAL, Mosin. Let's look at that again. Okay. Leaving, foams, IPAL above 12,000, then Molson. So that's it, guys. So now we can get this back to our chart. Because what was going to happen was we were definitely going to start taxiing and then take off, and he's going to be like, hey man, what are you doing? So our V speeds are still good. Foams, IPAL, Molson, built Coors, Voaxa, Elf, and so on and so forth. So always double check, and that's why you always double check everything. All right, guys, right is clear, left is clear. It is time to get out of here. I kind of rhyme unintentionally. Runway turnout lights on, nose gears on. Get our glare shield and aisle stand, everything turned up, because you know what? It's going to probably be a somewhat dark ride, even though we're flying during daytime hours. Resetting that, I don't know why that started. We'll reset it again. And let me check you guys out in chat. Nothing there to see, so let's roll up out of here. You guys know we got to go do our official check. Let's get a closer look. There we go. She's looking good. Off to the right we go. All right, guys. Now, to check our flight controls. It's going to be on this page. So as we start moving, we're going to look at all this stuff right here. This will move. But we can get rolling for brevity. All right, guys. Looking down here. Parking brake is released. And, of course, we need to do one more thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, we request your full attention as the flight attendants demonstrate the safety features of the
All right, guys, here we go.
When the seatbelt sign illuminates, you must fasten your seatbelt. Insert the metal fitting.
Welcome aboard, everybody. American Flight 318, full service, nonstop, Denver to San Francisco International.
We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight.
We are starting our taxi roll.
The Boeing 767 has 8 emergency exits. 2 in the front, 2 at the back, and 2 over each wing. Please take a few moments now to locate your nearest exit. In some cases,
all right, guys.
Your nearest exit may be behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft,
full up,
will guide you towards the exit.
Full down, neutral, aileron left, aileron right, neutral, and we'll check rudder left.
Oxygen and the air pressure are always being monitored. In the event
so we should just be able to take this straight to golf.
Will automatically appear in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it
LNAV and VNAV are activated.
Secure the elastic band behind your head and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask on first, and then assist the other person.
All right, guys, this should be golf here at the end.
Crew member advises you to remove it. In the event of an emergency, please assume the bracing position. Lean forward with your hands on.
Let's see, that's Foxtrot. This might be golf. Let's check our tablet. I almost blew past it. Let's see, charts. Okay, yeah, so this is golf. I almost blew past it, not looking. I said, let me check it. So this is actually golf right here.
Around your waist and adjust at the front to inflate the vest. Pull firmly on the red cord, only when leaving the aircraft. If you need to refill the vest, blow into the mouthpieces. Use the whistle and light to attract attention. Also, your seat bottom cushion can be used as a...
So hopefully we have a nice smooth flight, guys. Like I said, I believe flying time is 2 hours and 16 minutes. There'll be plenty of time for breaks in the air, chit chatter, and check in generally on see how everybody's week is going.
Computers may be used when the seatbelt sign is off or when permitted by the crew.
It's so funny, I always think I'm on VATSIM, but I'm not, so I better remember to talk to air traffic control, that's for sure. Oh, and we need to look up the appropriate runway for frequency for
Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the laboratories
flight.
permitted by law. You will find this and all the other safety information in the car, located in the seat pocket.
Okay, we don't really need to look at that anymore. So runway 25 is 2875. 2875.
650 Charlie Lima at Atlantic with information India, look for taxi.
So let's slow our roll up a little bit so we have time to program that in.
Number 650 Charlie Lima, Tucson ground, runway 29er right, taxi via Alpha.
29 right via Alpha, Challenger 650 Charlie Lima.
All right, so we just basically slowed our taxi up to handle that. We can pick the taxi up slightly. And we said departure is 1261. There we go, guys. Multitasking at its best. And Benga says, hey, guess what? Hey, Benga, how you doing? There's a lot of guessing to happen, so I'm assuming it's something great with the flight sim community. You got your computer or you're streaming. Let us know, Benga. Que quieres, Benga? Drew Stone says, Que quieres? There we go. I got a new joystick, Benga says. Benga, what joystick did you get? Por favor, tell us, which joystick did you get, Benga? All right, guys, I'm going to be checking you guys out here in the chat, and we'll wait till we get airborne to do so. Denver Tower American 318 on Golf, holding short runway 25, ready for departure.
American 318 Denver Tower 25, good to take off.
Runway 25, clear for takeoff. All right, so let's get our strobes on, our lights here. Let's reset that clock. There we go, we got it started. Final does look clear. All right, seats for takeoff, guys. Everything is on. Flaps are looking good. All right, guys, we are all lined up. Last thing we got to do, guys, is get that auto throttle on. Auto throttle is on. Look right, look left. Everybody ready? Ready. Toga. Takeoff power is set. A lot of left rudder going there, guys, to keep this thing straight down the runway. Airspeed is alive. 80 knots cross check. 100 knots. A lot of left rudder here. D1 and rotate. Nice and smooth off the deck. All right, here is coming up. Power is back. We got our VNAV activated. First stage of flaps coming down. We're going to continue to climb up. Second stage of flaps is coming down, throwing some power in, and we can go ahead and activate that autopilot. All right, she's going to balance herself out for that speed. Nice smooth transition over to the autopilot, and we are climbing, guys, on VNAV. Flaps are up and clean.
Max 318, connect departure.
Runway turnoff, so taxi's coming off. Over to departure, American 318. We'll see you. All right, guys, let's double check. Landing gear up, flaps is up and clean. Aircraft is climbing. Now what you want to do before you contact departure, see this is in the climb mode. You want to make sure it's in the climb mode, which it is. Now we can go over to departure, guys. Departure, American 318 is 8,400, climbing via SID.
318, Denver departure with a contact.
Alright, so he's just going to keep us climbing SID, so we got to follow the rules here, guys. So the aircraft is most certainly going to handle... Look how cloudy it is. Let's get a look at the ground right before. Mall Gaming 101 says, nice takeoff. Jewstone said, did you win 320 Sim Pilots giveaway? Dave McKee was asking, I'm assuming Benga. And of course, Jewstone said, let's do it. Guys, that was a pretty smooth takeoff. Especially because our flight route was right in front of us. Remember the first one was below 10,000 at foams. So that's exactly what we're doing. We got the clock started appropriately. And so on this aircraft, don't worry, once you start it up, this will have a number. But as soon as you hit clock, it resets it and gets it going, guys. So no worries there. All right, the switch here is in the off position. Flaps are all the way up. Now our rejected takeoff is to the off, and we can disarm the spoilers. Spoilers are disarmed. And we are climbing vertical navigation. We're going to increase that range, and you guys can see we have IPAL next, then Molson. And yeah, she's climbing. She's climbing quite nicely, guys. There we go. Drew Stone, Captain Geo, what is good? Thanks for checking in. There you guys go again with the Haitian Creole. Not boule. Not boule. There you guys go. See? I'm going to get it. Alright, guys. Let's do our after takeoff checklist. And let's announce our climb. Oops. Alright, so before takeoff, we obviously did all that. Packs, auto, landing gear up, flaps up, altimeters are set. And of course, they are set. They'll be switched at the transition, and then it goes into the descent checklist. Thought he was coming in a little low, but there's a lot going on. Captain Geo says he just woke up from a nap. Let me tell you something, Geo. Naps will truly save a life. I love naps, man. You know, especially if you've been into fitness. I've been into fitness pretty much my whole life. I used to be a remedial PT trainer when I was in the military. So if you failed the PT test, you came to see me and I ran you up mountains and stuff. The most important thing about being healthy is ensuring your body also gets enough rest. I know we always don't do that, and it's hard to do that, but that is just as important as you're working out, as eating a healthy meal, a well-balanced meal, putting the stuff in your body, burning your normal caloric calories, or always being in a caloric deficit, if you will, and getting that nap. Naps are underrated, Drew says. Kids hate them. With dread, they don't know what they're missing. I feel you. They don't know what they're missing, man. Well, actually, let me retract that statement. My two youngest ones, you know, are still very young in their education career, if you will. They're in elementary school. They know the difference of a good nap. Chile, tell me about it. LOL, Captain Geo says. Hey, man, Geo, by making that statement, you are getting a lot of support behind that, man. Looks like we got a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth about those naps. So, guys, if you don't take anything away from today's flight, take this. Take more naps, and the person that's leading that charge is Geo. Straight up reporting his napation. All right, guys, if you can see here, we have hit the transition altitude, so we just have to hit the standard button. All right, standard on this side. This is not a side that will do it for you, so you got to come on this side. And to standard we go. All right, folks, now we know that we definitely can always check our legs page, see how we're doing. So right now we should be on the heading of 263 direct bolt. You always want to double check what's happening, and that's exactly what we are. And don't forget to always try to keep your heading mode squared up, just in case ATC needs you to do a drastic turn for traffic or weather. So that's going well. Drew Stone says, I wish I could nap. I barely sleep as it is. Man, I hear you. You know, one person that I've consistently not seen sleep a lot, but has always been pretty healthy, pretty good to go, is my dad, man. He used to stay up all nights of the hours and then take a slight nap when he got home from work, but still stay up to 2 and then still be back up. Still stay up to 2 a.m. and then be back awake again at 6 a.m. to go to work. Dave's talking about Drew. I was about to say, man, you're always up. Real, man.
Tucson departure, November 650, Charlie, passing 12,300, climbing 17,000.
American 318, Denver Center, 133.67.
Over to Denver Center, 33.67, American 318. We'll see you. All right, guys. 33.67. Good evening, Denver Center, American 318, flight level 230.
American 318, Denver, flight 19, flight level 380.
Up to flight level 380 for American 318. All right, guys, so we can come here now. And now, yeah, we can go back to VNAV and go all the way up to flight level 380. 380 set. VNAV is activated. Engines should be kicking up, and we should start seeing the aircraft pitch up, which we are right here. And we'll let you. We could have done a flight level change, but we just went ahead and did a pitch up. Here in a second, we'll start checking out some winds in San Francisco, because I was checking earlier. They have been quite tumultuous and rigorous as far as the winds and gusts out of the San Francisco area. So this may not be a fun landing at all, folks. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. So we've got winds basically pushing us off of our left side. blowing from the left to the right slightly. It looks like from our aircraft, it's about at a 2 o'clock position.
Capital clearance, clear the Long Beach Airport, Foothills, 3 departure, Friant, transition, that is filed. Maintain 9,000, departure frequency 127.4, start 46401.
Alright guys, so entire flying time for this trip is 2 hours and 13 minutes. I stated 2 hours and 16 minutes, but 2 hours and 13 minutes. So we should literally, if you look at the clock here, be roughly 2 hours and 2 minutes out from our rubber wheels, hopefully touching down nicely in the San Francisco area. Now let's make sure that our weather situation is all on. Okay, so this was out of the test. So we're going to turn weather on, and we're going to tilt up slightly. So here's our weather radar. That's all on. Nothing significant just yet.
Number 23 Delta Tango, Seattle clearance, just verify your aircraft type.
And once we get to our cruising altitude, I believe we'll be able to get some tunes on.
Roger. The equipment subjects for that, or the equipment filing is Charlie 25 Charlie C25C file.
So in the meantime, let's go ahead and take a nice little wing view here.
I have a full route clearance for you, as in our chat.
Then we can also check that side.
Go clear to the San Francisco Airport. Harrow 6 departure. E-Rays transition.
And maybe we'll do a little walk through this cabin.
Climb the SID.
But right now we're up front here. There's the cockpit door, and
sorry, Harrow 6 departure. E-Rays Q1.
Yeah, here's the cabin. Let me turn this ATC down a little bit in my ear.
Yankee. Direct Mulback. Bodega 3 arrival.
There we go.
Climb the aesthetic set, maintain 9,000 departure.
Alright, so we'll get back into the cabin and kind of walk through this. This is first class, then you got business class, then you got the rest of the lowly folks, that would be me. Alright, checking on the health of the aircraft. We've got about 8,000 to go on the climb. Dave McKee says probably was because of using all caps. At Binga channel, it's not in slow mode. Hey guys, once again, I'm going to give them a shout out here. I'm going to give everybody a shout out. My content creators that are in the channel here are Captain Geo and Dave McKee. Check out their channels, please. And anybody else in here, really look at your handles and check them out. Drew Stone 77, he's always there supporting all of our channels. So he is a content creator in his own way, assisting other content creators and always being there in a support status, either as a moderator or helping with the giveaways or providing the giveaways. Green light, what is good, bro? And he's saying Dre in chat, green light, what's going on, man? And Dave McKee said I shouted out Geo last video. Nice. Yes, and definitely watch Dave's videos. They are very relaxing, and he does great flying. Dave does, and I like the destinations that he flies to. And yeah, so I caught myself watching several of my wife and I caught ourselves watching several videos of his the other night. So we kind of went on a binge, which I plan on doing it again. Captain Geo says thanks, Dave, appreciate it. Bam, much love. Of course, Captain Geo. If you guys don't know, Captain Geo is a great streamer. This dude, man, he lands. I met Geo at the Flight Sim Expo. Great pilot. You know, I love his drive. A lot of tenacity, sticking with this flight sim stuff. So yeah, Captain Geo, definitely a good streamer to check out, and you can see his handle there. Of course, Geo, appreciate you. Drew Stone, of course, he does what he can when he can. And Dave McKee says ditto. Yeah, because I think that's the more important thing here, guys. Shouting everybody out and galvanizing, you know, and lifting up together versus saying, oh, look at them, they got this many subs, or I don't have as many, and vice versa. And, nah, it's not even about that, man. Let's just have fun with it and grow together. And like I said, my boy Greenlight's been flying with me quite a bit, so hey, Greenlight flies with me. Whoever wants to fly in the circle, hey, if it makes sense, let's all do it, man, because it's all about, at the end of the day, you know, getting that mental escape, you know, keeping our skills sharp and doing what we love. Let's see. My son is calling right now. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna mute the mic. All right. I am back. One of my chillins decided to call me on the phone, so you know I try to always answer their calls and give them the attention and let them know they are just as important as anybody else in the family. All right. So yeah, we are rolling right along. We're almost at our cruising altitude, which you can see here. And then, of course, the last thing is we want to make sure the aircraft goes into the cruise stage. It automatically did it over here. So let me show you what I'm talking about in case you don't know on this aircraft. You can do it manually. So here's your buttons to get the engines into the takeoff, go around, the climb, or if you're doing D-rated 1 or 2 or your cruise phase. But it does it automatically, and once you know you're in there, it's reflected right here. So that's just what helps these engines to run efficiently and go from there. Let's get that range a little further out. And guys who fly Boeing aircraft but aren't familiar with this 767, you know, normally you have your range feature and it can switch this from plan to map, so on and so forth. All of that is down here. So you have to actually get that from down here on this pedestal piece right here underneath your FMS, just FYI. You guys can see that cost index is doing well. We're pretty much skirting right on the aircraft stress limits, which this barber pole represents. Hey, you're going too fast, you're going to overstress the aircraft and potentially tear it apart type situation. So, man, we're doing good, guys. Dave McKee says, Dre, note for future reference, when taking a call, turn the camera off.
So you're unable to hear.
Got you. I might take that in, or I might leave it on, Dave, on that one, because I'll forget to turn the camera back on. So, thank you for that bit of advice, Dave.
Selecting a runway transition, that's likely the cause of that, but if you are unable to depart, then I'll have a debrief for you.
All right, guys. We are rolling right along. Got you. He says people could read lips. For sure. Well, I definitely would turn the camera off and in them if it was something that grave, but thanks for that. And that's okay. Read lips. On there wasn't any sensitive information, but appreciate you looking out, Dave. Sure. My man is just looking out. Yeah, so Dave, like I said, man, I'm loving your streams, or not your videos, I should say. Very high quality. Very good flying, very entertaining. I like that long descent you did with the Otter when you landed in that waterway. That was pretty slick. And I thought it also was funny that Otter didn't have the water rudders on it, water rudders on it as well. So, yeah, very, very interesting, guys. So, what do you say we get some music on here? That's right. Drew says Dave is a GA master. Hey, Dave, you hooking it up. got some music on, but it's coming in really softly, so let's see what the song is. Dave says, that opinion may change after you see my next video. The landing was, well, questionable at best, appalling at worst. Dave, you're silly. Hey, you've seen some of my landings on here, so it is what it is. And Dave says that he'll never edit his trip, so he lets the, I let the warts and all show, you know, meaning, hey, if it's a bad landing, indifferent landing, neutral landing, great landing, Dave puts it up anyway. Obviously, when you stream, that's what you get anyway. Is my feline co-pilot just went through my legs. But that's what you get, man. And so it's the same here, Dave. Obviously, we're not editing what we do here on a live stream. So if you land, now this is what I will say. On these streams, or when you do a video, even if you land and it says hard landing, that's still a landing that's realistic. It's just a harder landing. We've all had them in real life. So to me, hard landing is not desirable, but it's not you smashed the landing gear or killed some people. It's just a hard landing. There's average, or acceptable, I should say, which is also a good landing. It's neither good nor bad. It's just a landing. Then you got great and butter, you know, or greaser, whatever you have set up in your landing rate monitor. So, because everyone gets seriously fixated on, oh, that was a hard landing, oh, whatever. Yeah, we strive to grease the runway as much as possible, but look, at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of different, you know, and just because you grease it or butter it doesn't mean it's a great landing. I see sometimes I land a little right of center, left of center, you know, you got to take everything. And if you're landing, like I landed in Puerto Rico on my last flight, it came out to be a hard landing, but I liked the landing because I got the runway blocks right where I wanted to, was able to stop the aircraft just before I was going to pass the last exit off the runway. I would have had to go do a turnaround and burn more fuel and all that stuff. So, you know, Nova Corp says a landing you can walk away from is a good landing. I agree. Dave McKee says true. Dave says it's that C-170. I say its bounce physics are way too crazy. For sure. Nova Corp says over here we got 4 feet of snow. Wow. I've lived in plenty of places like that. You know, I was born in Anchorage, Alaska, stationed in Colorado, Springs, Colorado, and then lived for some years in Minnesota. So I know all too well about the snow and have been overseas to several places it snows. Yeah, that's crazy. Dave Center says, what's center? LOL, I have heard legends of the elusive thing. Right, what is center? Dave, you're right, man. At some point, we just want the wheels to touch the concrete, landing surface, whatever it may be, and get it all stopped. Okay, guys, no need to panic. You guys get this in all Boeing aircraft. When the fuel runs out, center pumps are done extinguishing their fuel. So you can see here 0.5, so we just go ahead and turn those off, and the message is magically David Blaine extinguished, like that, guys. You guys didn't know you were going to get magic tricks on here, did you? All right. Cruising right along. So yeah, guys, so, you know, a great landing, there's several different factors into what makes a great landing. Yes, obviously here on the channel and other streamers, yeah, you want to get that thing that says, you know, at least acceptable or great landing or butter, but you got to take the hard landings with the butter landings, you know, and then there's certain different conditions that factor into that, and that's really all I can say about that. So I have literally, and you know what? You get a hard landing and there's no reason for that, which has been the case for me sometimes. I just have a bad landing. It gives you more of an experience to learn from versus always working through your head, you know, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. Learn from your mistakes. That way you make that mistake, just like other things in life. You say, hey, you know what? I pitched down too much, or I flared too late, or my speed was too high, or I should have done a go around. Those bad landings and the good landings are the ones that really give you, you know, an up-to-date report card on things that you can do better. You know, we call them after action review, you know, essentially, but it is what it is. Get some trusty hydration here. When I walk away from the cockpit here at any point, this time I got to be more careful. This is Pilotedge and they don't play.
Number 23 Delta Tango.
So,
runway 16 left taxi via Alpha Charlie.
All right, guys, 26 minutes in there, which means we have less than 2 hours to go, obviously. Let's take a look at these FMCs really quick. I always like to try to cover all of the features. So, you know, obviously this defaults to the basically your VNAV. Now the VNAV on other FMCs may show up, like I was flying a 747 last video, and it includes just one VNAV button, which includes your basically your climb, cruise, and descent, and approach, and all that stuff. Here they're broken down. This is definitely 3 different types of VNAV. Obviously, here's the climb one. We're done with the climb. We're in the cruise, which would give you, if we're doing any steps here, and it gives you obviously the optimal flight level and the max flight level, and our estimated fuel once we land in San Francisco, which is 16.6, which is fine, at 16,000 pounds of fuel. Then of course you can fast forward and go to your descent, but we're not in the descent right now. Of course, right here, this has got us doing our speed of 240 instead of 250 at 10,000, but the limits are 250 at 10,000 here in the United States, and in most other a lot of other areas have that. So we'll go back in here to the cruise phase, and then also you can come to progress, and progress will eventually show us our top of descent, but we're too far away from that now, so it's going to show you the next 2 waypoints plus the destination. And if you click over to the next page, this is going to give you your wins and your deviations, and then this is going to also give you some VOR information here on here, and again redundant to, and actually this one is only 2 pages, so that was it. I'm like, hey, that looks just like it. So that's that. Everything else is pretty much easy peasy in here, or we've already touched the other button, or you don't really need to mess with it. If you want to go to a fix and you want to do a position report or find out certain information, you can type in the fix here and it'll give you that information, and this for the second page as well. You can also notice here that our the runway, and for whatever reason we have 28 right, so I don't know how we got 28 right planned in there, but we need to switch that to 28 left. So I'm glad I caught that. So we are direct Weeman. We're on a heading of 271. Okay, so let's fix that. So we're going to put this in a heading mode slightly, really quick. All right, now we're in the heading mode. It's going to keep our heading. Now we can fix that. So all we're going to do, just don't forget, we're direct Weeman. So all we're going to do is we're going to come back in here, departure and index, arrival, and we want to select 28 left from Archie. Execute that. Let's look at the legs now. OAL to Archie. Let's make sure that's a good one before I accept that. And it's not. It's OAL. Let's see here. Okay, that's all good. Then we get to OAL. Okay. So after OAL, we're going to be direct Inouye. So actually what happened, it deleted our... It basically deleted our departure... let's see, what did it do here? Archie... Okay, yeah, it got rid of our arrival. So, let's go back. Index, let's clear that out the bottom. And just redo everything. Don't forget we were direct Weeman. Diamond 5. Boom, ILS 28 left. Archie. Execute that. Back to legs. Weeman, rumps, AOL, Inouye. Diamond, lane, always flows, Archie, pump. Okay, there we go. Execute that. Come out of here, back there. And now we can go back. And we can put it back into the LNAV. Yeah, because you never want to start messing, you know, and you can just verify it's still direct Weeman, which it is. But yeah, you never want to start messing with that stuff without putting your aircraft into the heading mode, man, because I'm telling you what, it'll be a nightmare. Planes are going to start moving and all that stuff. And Dave says they will let you walk, just not for 10 minutes type thing. Oh, right. Because what Dave's saying about Pilotedge, they will let you walk away from the cockpit, but you better be back quickly. What I usually do, if I'm flying like this, I open the door up, mute the microphone so that you guys don't hear redundant ATC chatter, and I'll let the loudspeaker go, so if I'm out there and they call me, I can come back in here. So, alright guys, current time here is 19:18, and if we look at the progress, we are getting to San Francisco at 20:39, so 19:18 to 20:39, basically an hour and 20 minutes to go. Does everybody see that? So, yep, about an hour and 20 minutes to go, guys.
2-2 Delta Tango in the future, if you don't receive the frequency change off the runway requested from tower, and just instead of switching to departure.
Let's go get a little flyby here. She is, you guys know what I say, looking official. Not much to see on the ground these days. Let's see here. You know what? We never got our landing lights off. There we go.
Amazing.
All right. Just proof things can be missed. All right. Feedback and a couple need to look at something. Hey, Dave, take your time. We got a few here cruising on this flight. Non-stop. American Airlines 318, Boeing 767-300, X-Plane 11. This is the Flight Factor edition. Guys, we are rolling on this Tuesday shuttle from Denver International all the way to San Francisco International non-stop. If you guys are just joining the channel, thank you for joining. First of all, thank you for watching. I ask that you subscribe, hit the bell, give me a like, share it out. If you're already a subscriber, please like, and again, can't thank you enough for joining us here on this trip to San Francisco.
127.45.
All right. So let's see.
318 contact Salt Lake 13577.
Hey, going over to Salt Lake Center, 35.77 American 318. We'll see you. All right, guys. So you heard the man.
Southwest 2248 level, flight level 190.
Southwest to 2248 Oakland, limit to level 350.
I maintain level 350, Southwest 2248.
Number 3, the tank was planning 15,000, connect Seattle 126.6.
Good evening, Salt Lake Center. American 318 is checking in with you. Flight level 380.
American 318, Salt Lake, hello.
Hello. All right, there we go. So we just checked in with Salt Lake City. 36 minutes into the flight.
3 Delta Tango with you, just about to cross over Inlo, climbing through 13,000 for 15,000.
So now, you guys remember, before I take a little break and get water, remember what we just did, guys. What do? We changed the flight plan, even though we have a good, you know, sight picture right here. What we're doing, you don't want to just trust in that. Go back to your plan mode. Get this on the legs page again. Okay. Now it's pretty much centered where we're at, and we need to make sure that the route is still good after our changes. OAL, Inouye, Diamond. Now that's on the arrival. Now we need to. There's Archie. Punk. And we're in there, so that looks good. So now let's get this back to the regular mode. Let's do our ranges. I like to do it to where I can see my top of descent. So this is 320 here. So I'm not quite sure. Let me check something here. So for example, this would be 20, 40, 60, 80 as far as the ratio is concerned. Obviously 80, probably 160, so on and so forth. So then there's our, you know, we know once we get to here, it's 320 nautical miles to go to our top of descent. I'm not quite sure what this band represents. If it's double this, which I doubt it is. Actually, we can come and look at the progress page here. So yeah, it is almost, you know, 584 miles. So it's not quite double, but yeah, I guess it is. So we still got some cruising to do here. So now it's got us getting in there at 2040 Zulu. So yeah, about an hour and 17 minutes to go, guys. So not too bad. Now let us do, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually, I'm going to step away really quick, guys. Get a drink of water, stretch my legs, and I should be back in 5 to 6 minutes. I'm going to mute this microphone so I can hear the speakers coming out for the ATC. And so you guys will still hear that. And then if they call me or whatever, I'll come rushing back in. But let's make sure we got some good tunes on here.
Seattle Center, Delta Tango is with you, climbing through 9,000 for 230.
All right, guys. So I shall be right back with you. I'm going to do a little bathroom break, get some water, stretch my legs, and then we'll talk about what it looks like for us arriving and cover anything else that we want to cover. So if you guys want to, this is your chance. Take a little break, stretch your legs. We know we're not going to be descending at least for, you know, 55 minutes or so. So there you guys go. I shall return to the cockpit, but of course I'll be monitoring the ATC while I'm away, and I'll check you guys out in a few minutes.
Hey guys, your boy Dre's back in the bathroom, you know. Just gotta go to the bathroom. Dude's in chat. Who's in chat? Daquan. Hi, Daquan. How you doing? Hi. What happened? Yeah, I can't hear you. I have the headphones on. I can't hear what you're saying. Okay, I'm done.
One of my lovely daughters decided she wanted to be daddy client right now, so she's just checking you guys out. All right, I'll be out there in a second. Alright guys, it's actually your actual captain back now. And yeah, my daughter just wanted to have a little fun. Let's check in and see what is going on. Dave Miss Drew sends new pilot. Big up. Dave McKee said sandwich break. Yes everybody, I'm back. That was one of my children, one of my 12-year-olds. She just wanted to give a shout out. Who are kidding? Smoke break in my case. There you go, Dave. Hey, I was in the military for a long time, Dave. Light them, smoke them if you got them. You know, but smoke those the light cigarettes so you don't pick up too many calories. That was an LOL moment, guys. Don't take me for real. All right, guys, we're cruising right along. ATC's been rather quiet. They didn't make a peep while I was gone. They did not make a peep. So it's all quiet and calm. So we are basically south of Provo in Utah City, or Salt Lake City, I should say. Let's go ahead and give a little. That is us. This is us here, Pilotedge. Here we are right now, just passing almost directly south of the lake. It is. We've already passed directly south of Provo, and you can see, you know. And you got to know this for your emergency landings, what you got close to you. So right now, if we had to deviate, Salt Lake would be the best option. Provo, not so much, but if we had to push it, we could take Provo and I could get us down on that as well. Then of course, if you look south, there's not a whole lot except Vegas would be an alternate. And you also have to look back here at Grand Junction. Definitely not our origin though. That would not be ideal for us. So we've got quite a ways to go. I just wanted to kind of show you guys that. All right. I do refresh my water as well. Doing well. Alright guys, here in a second. And again, if I didn't say it, Daquan, what up? Thanks for joining the stream. Everybody who did smash the like button, I appreciate you. And yeah, this is kind of the I wouldn't say boring, but the less busy time of fumbling with the aircraft. But it is the most comfortable part of the flight for the passengers. Here we go. let's see if our top of descent here is so still quite a ways to go, 489 nautical miles. And it looks like we're gonna have a cloudy ride with the chance of meatballs. Haha, LOL. Just basically pulling up my charts on my other Navigraph screen here. Alright guys, so let's look and see what our planning or the plans for our arrival into the San Francisco area look like. You know what guys, let's go to the back. Oh, you know what? I can change that. So let's see what view works for us best. Well, that one's not too bad. That one is definitely no good. So in this aircraft, they have something called dynamic blinds, which it will close the blinds based off of the light. So I think we can stay right here, but we're going to make this a static view versus our heads moving around.
Delta Tango, contact Seattle Center 125.3550.
There we go. We'll save that. This is our X camera. And even though, you know, X-Plane has a great camera feature and how it sets up, I'm sure the new one does too. I love X camera. I mean, to me, it's a must-have.
Level up 39,000 with you.
Mr. Delta Tango, Center, roger.
Let's slide this so we have a full window view with no tablet in the way. There we go. All right, guys. So let us come back to the charts. And let's look up San Francisco. So first of all, we are arriving on the I always wanted to say the Diamond, but it looks like the Dimed. I wonder how you pronounce that. Anyway, I just want to say Diamond, but it's not. There's not even an N in there. So let's expand this bad boy and see what it looks like. So here's the Inouye, and we're going to be coming right on this to hit our first constraint here on the arrival here at Daya MD, however you say that, which is a max of 290 knots. So this one is different than your normal ones. Normally they give you, like this one says at, you must be at this, so there is no questions. You need to be at this speed between this altitude. This one is a max, so you can do anything, but just don't do 291 on your knots. And then here again, lane is at 280. So, but that's still telling you here. I mean, that's only 16.5 nautical miles between this point and this point. So it's behoove you not to be doing too fast, because you have to be at 280 knots to be exact right here at lane. Then always flows seeds freely Archie, and then from Archie we start our approach. So that is all looking good, and you can see San Francisco's here. So since you hit Archie, you hit another point, and then you basically do a right turn and you start your initial final approach into San Francisco. Let's look at the approach. Approach, ILS or localizer 28 left. Let's verify the frequency, 109.55.284. We also want to be verifying this stuff in here. So we can go to our initial ref, 109.55, approach heading course 284. You see that? So there's one more place we got to put this in. And then of course, we're not quite ready yet, but we will also be letting the aircraft know what stage of flaps we'll be landing at. Let's go back there for now. let me get you the current weather in San Francisco. Road is getting dry. Eat one of my daughter's Jolly Ranchers, as you met her just a few moments ago. You know, junior high kids, man, they always have some type of candy. I put in a request. Hopefully I'm responsible and it's not making any noises. All right. So let's do something quick. Let see these frequencies 109, 55, and 284. We have to put it down here at the lower pedestal as well. Now this is your ILS frequencies in this particular aircraft. So, and remember, we got it from here, but this aircraft, once you do plan for the appropriate runway, which we had put in the wrong one, I corrected that. Like I said, are also mirrored here. So even if you didn't have this, you know you had the right runway put in, you can just rely on this ILS frequency here and this approach course. But because we do have the chart, we can double check everything. Now you have to kind of cycle this first, left and right, and then it comes alive. So we want 109.55 with an approach course 284. So 109.55 and approach course at 284. We also want to get the ATIS. So if you know the frequencies, this 113 and 115, they're not even viable for this aircraft. We got to start at 18. So we're going to assume the frequency that we need is going to be 1885. Salt Lake Center 128.72 for American 318. All right, 127.82. Salt Lake Center, American 318, checking in with you, flight level 380.
American 318, Salt Lake, Roger. Walker 380.
All right, so we checked in. Chief, what is good, Chief? How are you doing? Thank you for joining the stream, Chief. Thank you for your stream still, Chief. They're very entertaining. I've been catching yours even when I'm at work. So, yo, back to you, Chief. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for your continued streams as well, Chief. Everybody, even if you're watching this video post live, go check out Chief Sim Pilot. His handle is in the chat, but if the chat is expired, because sometimes you can't get it all, Chief's handle is Chief Space Sim Pilot, all pushed together. Find him on YouTube. Chief found me a long time ago and connected me with Shaq and Gio and a bunch of folks. So big up to you, Chief. Much success to you. Great work on your channel. It's been growing. Chief and I were somewhat around the same area. He kept pushing. My streams fell off a little bit. Internet problems, work, life. Chief has been consistent. Check his channel out, guys. He's got some great landings. He does Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and he also does X-Plane 11. So thanks again, Chief, for joining. If you guys haven't already, please push that like button, sub to the channel, share it out, and let's keep having fun together. The Chief says, appreciate you, Dre. Absolutely, Chief. Come on, man. You know, we got to give credit and love where it's due. It's definitely due that way, man. So that's good looking. Which brings me to my next point. I'm almost... Well, if Green Light flies with me, he wants to fly the next time we can. But I'm almost certain the next stream, we might step away from X-Plane 11. Either do a quick stream on American Truck Simulator. But Dave says he's not do FS 2020 He does the longitude and nothing else in it. There you go. He does the longitude and nothing else in it. Anyway, I think I'm gonna do DCS. The next one, I want to get my A10 back up. Now those flights are very action-packed because you don't really sit idle in those flights. If anything, when I fly Digital Combat Simulator, the flying is the least of your worries, if that makes any sense. Anybody that's flown DCS will know that that's a very, very intense simulation because you're also doing all the other differences. You got to know what the TACAN is. I mean, you're doing everything you're doing here, but you're also doing targeting, evading, engaging targets. So, if you guys had to vote, let me know what y'all want to see next. American Truck Simulator or DCS. X-Plane's going to be hands down. And the reason why I'm doing that, the next video, my current setup with my controls is for aircraft that have a flight yoke like this. The next one will either be ATS or DCS, which this setup changes. But I'm doing that to lead back into X-Plane so that I can set up my Airbus controls. That's kind of the segue, and then I'll do some Airbus flying. I'll take up the A350 again. I'll do probably a trip in the A19 and the A321. Dave McKee says ATS in the house. Now I'm thinking I need to get ATS in the house too, guys. I'm thinking that probably will be the next stream is some ATS. Get behind the wheel. The thing about American Truck Simulator though is when you haven't played it for a few days, a week or so, man, that thing does so many updates, it may crash all your mods out. I'm really waiting for them to get Texas, and I'll throw Texas in and we'll get some good sounding trucks, man, and we'll hit the highway. Following the ATS stream will probably be a DCS stream, Dre style. I'll do all the explaining and tell you guys what I got going on in that one. Hopefully we blow some stuff up, and I'll probably do multiplayer in that one. So we'll go find a training server, get into the server. I want to do one stream with my A10. Then I have an F-16, man, and that thing just, we'll do some canyon, some ridge flying, and we'll do some concealment flying, covering concealment flying, which you're gonna fly low in the valley, come up, ingress to a target, egress, get out of there. So that's what we're planning to do, and the DCS truly speaks to my military side of me for sure. I mean, it's just flying any missions in DCS with somebody else, and you're having to really communicate. You know, ATC is literally your JTAC, where you get your commands from, and you report that in. But it's definitely still a very challenging sim for me, and you know, I still haven't even fully mastered in-flight refueling. So hopefully we'll be seeing that soon. But again, I never stray too far away or too long away from X-Plane. Alright guys, so we got our approach set up. We can see here, once we get in from Archie, here's Archie. We'll be on a heading of 238 to intercept Punk. Then we do a right turn to 284, which you guys know, that's our final approach course heading. And then not too far after that, we should be on the ground, hopefully, safely. Weather in San Francisco, guys, we couldn't have asked for better right now. Look at that. We're landing on runway 28 left. 28 left. However, I'm not too happy about the speed of the winds. That's going to be quite the landing, guys. The good thing is it's not saying wind gusting to 28. So all we have to do is deal with a nice little headwind of 18 knots, guys. So that's still pretty significant, but it's a direct headwind. So we can manage a lot of that with not over flapping. So we won't be landing at full flaps and managing our speed. But we should be able to keep the nose of the aircraft 12 o'clock to the field without any yawing or crabbing, if you will, into the field. So altimeter there is 3001. So before we finish with the briefing, let's of course go check our progress. Still not reflecting any top of descent yet. Let's check the cruise page. Yeah, I think if anyone's going to reflect it, it'll be this one, top of descent. Let's check the times here. Okay, yeah, we're still doing good here. And you guys can see if this is if this band is 160, and we probably have, I don't know what the increments go from here, but if it's another 20, then we only got about now it could be no way 180. Let's see how far we are from the field. Yeah, 379, so it probably is double, 160, 160, so maybe about, we'll say 300 miles or so, maybe a little bit more than that to start our top of descent. Sorry about that. Had to mute the mic so I didn't do that in your ear and or choke on this candy. So that is all squared away. I feel like there was something else I was going to show you guys here that I just can't seem to remember. So landing speeds, VREF. There was just one other thing that I was going to talk about. It'll come back to me. Let me check you guys out in the chat. Nothing there. So yeah, guys, we're still doing good. Let's check something here in our legs page. Arc should be right at 7,000 at 230. I'm going to have it slower than that, though. Even this one's way too fast to try to slow down to 170 on our final approach. We're not going to be doing that type of speed at all. Let's see. Wetter. Yeah, we're definitely going to... We'll leave it there for now. I'm not going to make any physical changes here. By this time, I'm actually going to be taking control of the autopilot. It's going to manually handle it. So, excuse me, you might be asking yourself, and I know you guys are. You guys are very inquisitive. Where are we going to park, Dre? I know. I was asking myself that too. I got the answer. Terminal 1, Gate 26. Let's see where that's at. All right. So, runway 28 left. Which, you know what, they may give us right because it's longer, but we'll see. Whether they do or not, we'll make the change. At any rate, wherever we get off, it'll be one of the 28s. We will exit, work our way over to Alpha.
95 solid clearance, clear the buildings, airport, stealth, Lake 4 departure, vectors, walk batches, file. Maintain 10,000.
We're going to take Alpha. Come all the way around, turn right here for Terminal 1, and Gate 26 is like right here. Oops. I want to look and see if they got those parking coordinates. Parking gates. 95 right back right. So it's actually numbered. So my San Francisco scenery, in my scenery, it's gate, I believe, 26, but I don't think I have the actual San Francisco scenery. I think it's just regular X-Plane. So in the sim, it's B6. Dave says, how do you know where gate 26 is and American Parks is what Dave is asking. So what I do, Dave, there's a few different ways you can do this. Well, let's just do it now. So I'll show you what I do, and I'm just literally going to share it out. We're good to go. In the off event that we miss our descent marks, if I'm blabbing, I always do this too. I'm going to bring this all the way down to 3,100 feet. Actually, we'll do 7,000 because I'm not flying on my own. If I was flying on my own, I'd go further. 7,000 is Archie. That's the transition from the star to the approach. So we'll leave it at 7,000 for now. And you know what? Actually, I'm lying about all that, guys. I'm thinking I'm flying on my own. With air traffic control, you better, because they may not descend me right when I want to descend. Or right when top of descent is. So we better just keep that right here. All right, Dave. So to answer your question, you can use Sky Vector to figure that out. So let's do that. So let's say, like, you know, now keep in mind this aircraft isn't the real, this isn't the actual aircraft that they use to fly the route. This isn't the actual aircraft they use to fly this route. Just keep that in mind. So let's say, where does American park, right? Let's say same route. Even though on here there's probably not going to show an American route, I'll show you in lieu of that how to get around. So here's a bunch of flights. These are a bunch of the filings, but it doesn't lift the aircraft yet. So you scroll down, this is FlightAware, and you can see here most of the last filings were between Frontier and United Airlines, right? So I know this is not American Airlines Day, but I'm just giving you an example how I do it. So let's say I was going to fly United flight. I want to know where they park. I just click on this and see that. So this is the United flight. It parks or departs from gate B38 in Denver, and it arrives in San Francisco at gate F20. So that'll tell you right now, those are the real gates, and this is United aircraft. So if I was flying United, I just got the gates where this aircraft goes. Now the caveat to that is, this route doesn't show up in FlightAware, but does American really fly to San Francisco? Yes, they do. I go to Hotwire, go to flights, even though that's a real website for cheap tickets and stuff, and I go to flights, and I look through all the flights, and I see American flights, so I say, okay, American does fly there. They don't really fly a 767-300. I just wanted to fly this aircraft. That's why I picked it, and I picked the American livery. However, I do know they go there. Then you can do a search on the internet. What are the American gates in San Francisco? It'll tell you Terminal 1. Then from there, you actually, based off the size of your aircraft, have to go look at that. Either load the sim, look at the gate, make sure it works, and then choose that as your gate to keep it as realistic as possible. But I usually am able to find a similar flight in FlightAware that's a real flight, do what I just did, and I find the gate that way. Chief says, true Dave, crew knows me, haha. And Drewstone77 says that longitude. Zach says, do you play Microsoft Flight Simulator? I am a Microsoft Flight Simulator fan, Zach. I don't have it yet. My computer could run it, but I'm waiting to get my new computer, have it loaded on there, and I'll start from there. So I've just been actually waiting and waiting for it to get a little more advanced, but I think it's to where now I can pretty much get it. I still know there's a lot of disparities. So Zach, the short answer is I've never played Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, but it's not because I can't download it right now and get it. I've been waiting patiently, so I will be playing that very soon. My dad actually has it and showed it to me, but again, based off of the things that it can't do, like X-Plane, the replays, and you know, problems with some of their flight models, things of that nature, I've just held off. But it is a beautiful simulator, and it's got a lot of things that I think are great. Do I think it can replace like X-Plane 11 or coming up X-Plane 12? No. I also don't think X-Plane can replace Microsoft Flight Sim, and I think they're both great in their own right, and they're definitely two simulators that I want to fly. So, just to kind of throw that out there, I haven't done it yet, guys, but I am a huge fan of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I got my wings, simulator wings, if you will, from FS 98, 2002, 2004, all that stuff. Dave says, FS 2020, it lacks airliners that you prefer, Dre, at this point. I would still wait till next year. I agree, Dave. And Zach says, I totally understand. I have it and can't wait for the future. They are soon to come out with some great planes. And also, guys, I do fly the airliners, but as you guys see on my channel, I like to get down and dirty with turboprops too. I'm a turboprop fan. Piston aircraft, I fly too, but I really don't do it that much. Dave says, for planes I prefer, it's perfect, not so much for airliner pilots. Right. I agree, Dave. And the truth is, I like flying general aviation aircraft too. You guys see it in my channel. And for those that just fly jets and that don't fly turboprops or general aviation aircrafts, you will soon find out that those general aviation aircraft are very, very challenging. You know what I mean? Like they can get super floaty, they're super touchy, you know, sometimes because they're so light. They have some great study level general aviation aircraft. So to me, I love flying, period. So I like airliners, and I also like general aviation aircraft. How about you, Zach? What are your favorites to fly? He says, exactly, Dave. I'm an airliner guy. He's answering right now myself, and I can't wait for the 737, the MD-82, and the A300, and etc. There you go. I think what happened with Microsoft Flight Simulator, I'm not saying that they pulled the trigger too early, but maybe I am kind of saying that a little bit. But I think they should have taken more time in the preparatory phase of releasing Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 to really work more with the developers that make the third-party payware, and they should have worked with those that are in the freeware department so that they could really figure out how to optimize the models for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Now what you have is a great aesthetically pleasing simulator because the world is awesome, the detail, but then you don't have the variety of models to fly in them. When any new sim comes out, it always takes time. So even when X-Plane 12 comes out, even when they went from OpenGL to Vulkan, even some of those developers, aircrafts that worked in OpenGL and X-Plane didn't quite work as well in Vulkan. So, I mean, hey, who am I to tell them how to run their ship? But if you're looking for customer retention, customer satisfaction, and customers that are willing to stay with you and grow with you, sometimes it's okay to take a step back and work with your developers, pause the release of it, because everyone's going to be solid. Us simmers and gamers in general, when they release something or they announce the releasing of something, we are salivating at, ooh, when can we get it? But at the same time, unrealistically even so, sometimes we have too high of expectations for those softwares and the plugins that go with them to work flawlessly, and it's just not going to work that way. Anybody that's been doing anything, you know, streaming, simming, anything that you have to rely on software being developed for you to use it knows exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes I don't even opt in for the beta, because I know even in the beta stage, most certainly in the alpha stage, I understand that you know, there's going to be glitches, and I personally don't am not so impatient that I can't wait for them to work out the glitches before I buy it, because then I don't want to get it and have a bad taste in my mouth. Let's see here. Dave McKee says, I don't have any issue with them, LOL, but I don't fly King Air like a 737. Drew Stone says, X-Plane needs add-ons like enhanced skyscapes to compare with Microsoft Flight Simulator, but my Microsoft Flight Simulator doesn't have the planes yet. Zach says, true, Drew. And I'm going to second that. Absolutely, or third that. So, that's why, in a nutshell, guys, I don't fly Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, even though I am a true fan, trust me. I watch the videos and can enjoy some videos that folks are putting up. Me personally, though, I don't want to get in there and start looking for that fully immersive, experience and then be let down because they don't have this or they don't have that. For me, if it's not stream ready, we can't even mess with it. Okay, so what we got to do right now, we need to put a boost frequency in here because he is very choppy. So, the boost frequency is 121.5 because he is way far out. I mean, he was coming in staticky. Let me turn this music off and do a comms check. Salt Lake Center, American 318. Alright, hopefully we're not too far from the station. Salt Lake Center, American 318. I hope we didn't get too far. He was definitely coming in too choppy. Salt Lake Center, American 318, was trying to get a hold of you. I did put in the boost frequency, but you are coming in very staticky. Is there another frequency I can change to, sir? And I actually think we just lost him. So, alright guys, now it is definitely time to use some charts here. See, sky vector, we got to see what we're direct to, and right now we are direct to rumps 17 nautical miles. Okay, so now I have to look at my sky vector. Okay, there's rumps. So what I'm doing now, let's see. Oakland Center, Tonopah. Let's see, we're direct rumps. Where's rumps at? That's OAL. Cats. Okay, rumps. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do, since I think we lost him. Let's see, 3452. Let's check in there. Let's try. So this is really happening, guys. 32. So basically we just got too far. He didn't switch us over and our radio is not picking him up. So I'm trying a... So what I'm doing, guys, is I checked out my waypoints. Here's rumps. We're direct rumps. So it'll also give you some frequencies here. Here's Oakland, but there's another... Let me see. Where's that? Here's the Salt Lake City that we're going to try to get. 34...
318 Salt Lake Center on guard. If you hear this transmission, contact Oakland Center 127.45.
Okay, I was just getting ready to find a frequency, 127.45, and I did try to call you as you were getting staticky, but I think it was too late. So we'll switch over. Thanks a lot. All right, 127.45. So as you can see, this may happen in real life as well. So you guys, you gotta know how to, don't panic when you lose those frequencies. which is really wasn't anybody's fault. You know, there's a lot of cloud cover. All right, let's see. You said 127. Let's see. Oakland Center, American 318, checking in with you, flight level 380.
American 318, Oakland Center, hello.
All right, so we're back on track. You know, so anyway, that's kind of what you need to do. So like I said, now the other frequency that he just gave us, see, here's 135, so you can also look Oakland, but then they use that general frequency for them to make it easier to cover that, so you could kind of search around and find that in there as well. But that's what you guys got to do. You can find another frequency on your chart, know where you're at, and don't be scared to call for that frequency. Let's see. Drew Stone says, let's see. Okay. Drew Stone, I'm going back to the chat because I was getting distracted. So, Drew Stone says, that's my problem on Xbone, Dre. It sucks compared to PC, so I'll be spending some money soon. Haha, I feel you, Drew. Zach says, are you on VATSIM? I want to get on the network, but I don't know the lingo. Right now I'm on Pilotedge, Zach, so I definitely want, you should start on VATSIM for sure. Maybe Keith said this is Pilotedge, not VATSIM. And Drew says, watch more of my videos when he's on VATSIM. And I have plenty of videos, Zach, that's on VATSIM, so yeah, please check that out. And in any of these streamers, you know, Shaq, Captain Shaquille Oatmeal, Captain Geo, Chief Sim Pilot, they all fly. I think I saw Geo fly Pilotedge. I'm not sure about everybody else. The rest will do VATSIM. And Pilotedge are real world ATC, unlike VATSIM. Also, you pay for it. That's right. And not to say some real world ATC don't spend time on VATSIM. Absolutely. You know, this is my opinion about the two. I definitely find myself inclined to using the two, and here's why. If you want the real ATC experience, Pilotedge for sure. Okay? I mean, that's some hardcore training. I mean, you'll even notice on Pilotedge, most people are flying general aviation aircraft versus jetliners like this. I know the streams and all that, a lot of people love this, but I love the general aviation as well too, and you see that on my streams as well. But VATSIM can be just like Pilotedge if you get a great event and you get the traffic, so then you're getting the immersive aesthetics that you're looking for as well. So if I'm going to be honest, I prefer VATSIM over Pilotedge. If VATSIM's airspaces are controlled and covered and there's traffic on there, I will pick VATSIM over Pilotedge. However, if I want to fly a route, a real route, and use ATC, and I don't want to just do pilot callouts, I'll use Pilotedge because I have that. Ooh, I want to do this flight all the way, meaning doing all the right things, checklists, procedures, and I want that ATC. So I love Pilotedge. I'll never get rid of Pilotedge. I want to patronize them because I want Pilotedge to expand to the whole country. For coverage, I want them to grow and scale their business up. VATSIM, I always have, you know, VATSIM is home because that's where I learned, you know, how to, you know, like you're scared of, Zach, you don't know the lingo. Well, VATSIM is a place where you will also get chewed out in a constructive way, but you can observe, you can listen, you can join VATSIM as an observer and observe other aircraft and what they're doing and listen to them. Or what you can do is you can spawn your aircraft somewhere at a gate or a cargo ramp or a general aviation parking spot, log on to VATSIM and just listen. You don't even have to fly. And then you can kind of see the flow of things on the VATSIM network. You'll hear people making mistakes. You'll hear people doing it right. And sometimes the air traffic controllers make mistakes, as they do on Pilotedge. So I think they're both a nice balance. I love them both. I like VATSIM too, because if you guys want to fly along, not everybody has Pilotedge, but VATSIM is, you know, it's free. It's free to use, but you have to dump some money in the software. All the plugins, the software is free, but obviously you need to have a computer and have a setup that is conducive to flying online. And I would say that if you really want to do the real thing and you want to start off slow, VATSIM also allows you to type. Although it is not very user-friendly if you're trying to fly and type. I did that back in the day. You know, we're talking about like in the early 2000s where I had to type and fly because I didn't have voice capability. They barely did, if at all. So that's changed. But VATSIM's come a long way, man. They got voice capability, and now we can talk on Unicom, which makes it awesome because even if you're not flying with air traffic control and you're flying with a few different people, you can fly with your friends, and if you're not anywhere near a field, you guys can communicate, you know, responsibly. Because VATSIM, they don't play any games. If you curse, if you have grotesque behavior, and if you're not following the rules, you're going to get booted. And sometimes those bans are 6 months or a lifetime ban. Pilotedge will hold you to your feet too. You know, another thing you guys can look at too, if you go on Pilotedge, let me check how many miles we got to top of the descent. We got 73 nautical miles, so I'm going to make this quick, guys, and then we're going to get to business. But if you go on Pilotedge, guys, this is Pilotedge right here. First of all, they have their own map, and you can see there's never that many aircraft on here at any given one time. So here we are right here, and you've got other craft. A lot of people mainly in this general aviation craft. If you look at the aircraft here, these are mainly general aviation aircraft. You know, you got Frontier, FedEx, a few of them, Walker, but the rest of these are basically general aviation aircraft. General aviation aircraft, with a few of us flying commercial airliners. But back to the website, what I recommend that you do, you can go to the Pilot Center, and you can go to let's see, there's a list of training. Okay, roster of rated pilots. Now, these are my completed training ratings that I did back in 2018, and as you can see, I did them starting May 24th, and it took me all the way to June 18th to do all of my tests and pass them. So once you get through the rigors of VATSIM, and if you ever want to level up your ATC skills and controlling your aircraft and doing what's right, segue over to Pilotedge and take all of these tests. You're going to take the VFR test first, which is Cat 1 through 11. Then you're going to take the I1 through I11 test. And then you'll be able to go here and see all the pilots that are rated on here. And so I don't know why this, 25 most recent. But this will show you here too where your ratings are at. And they used to just have this where it scrolled. Let me see your completed ratings. Boom, that's it. So it shows all my ratings are completed, and I'm on the list of rated pilots, obviously, because here's the completion dates. But yeah, Pilotedge, and the cool thing about Pilotedge too, you can go back and listen to live audio recordings of the day. Listen to live audio. So if you also want to learn about ATC, Zach, you can go to Pilotedge and listen to live audio of actual people, so there's several different things you can do with it. Drew Stone says it's funny how VATSIM is free and they don't mess with people. They're paying for Pilotedge, they yell at people, and I think they should, Drew, because that's what they do in the real life. That's what keeps that immersiveness legit on Pilotedge. I like the fact that you cannot have thin skin going on to Pilotedge or VATSIM. You got to know most of it's going to be constructive, so that's the way you just got to take it. So Greenlight says it's truth. The IFR language doesn't change. The only difference is that VATSIM, you can do a simulated IFR flight without a controller, versus Pilotedge is always controlled, and Pilotedge was made for newly minted IFR pilot or pilots getting their instrument ratings to prepare them for a check ride and familiarity with IFR system. Dave says there is an implied knowledge of proper procedures on Pilotedge. Drew, a lot of real-world pilots and students use it for keeping skills sharp. Now, I do want to tell you guys this, on Pilotedge, you can do group flights and tune into the same frequencies. You can fly out of the Pilotedge purview. Let's say you want to do a flight from Boston to Philadelphia. You guys can still spawn, use Pilotedge, and still talk. You guys can still do a group flight and talk because you're not in the purview of their ATC. Obviously, you get in their ATC area, which is basically from Colorado and straight down to New Mexico and all that. That's the line of coverage. You can then know that you're not going to be talking freely during operational hours. But as soon as they log off, let's say you're on the East Coast past 2 a.m. or on the West Coast past 11 p.m. because they're open from 8 to 11 Pacific Standard Time, you can get on there and have a group flight and still tune in and talk to each other. Dave McKee says, yeah, they don't tolerate pilots who don't know how to fly a procedure or know their aircraft. They will get you down and then tell you to train before you come back again. That's right. Drew says, I like it though. Yeah, I do too, guys. So, all right, guys, let us start getting down to the brass tacks, because we got a lot of stuff to do here in a short amount of time. Let's prepare our cabin. Let's see, cancel, drinks, entertainment, before descent. Okay, so we're just giving him the before descent. As you guys can see, we got about 40 nautical miles or so, 38 nautical miles to top of descent, and we will start our descent, initial descent into the San Francisco area. If we have any emergencies at this point, I'll tell you guys where we're going to divert to. At this point, guys, if we have any emergencies, we will most certainly be diverting to either Fresno or Reno. Our first two options, and Fresno being closer. As we pass Yosemite Valley, that will essentially turn into the best airport to get to from that point is actually going to be San Francisco. So, that is going to be our alternates, guys. Should we approach the field and have a missed approach, we'll show you what we're going to do. Back to our charts. Should we have an descend via the Diamond 5 arrival for American 318? Alright guys, so here's what we can do really quick. Let me get that off. Now we can put this down to where the aircraft will descend down to and you know, I don't think that Archie is the last point on our arrival. Let's see. Okay, I lied. Archie is the last waypoint on our arrival, so the reason why I was checking that to make sure I can keep the 7,000 in here. So now, basically, because we're in the vertical navigation profile, the aircraft will descend on its start descending on its own, and to begin our initial descent. And okay, let's go back to our checklist as well. Let's get that before I keep yip yapping here. Let me check you guys out in the chat, and we'll get it in. Chat is still all good. So now what we're going to do, guys, let's come over here to our checklist. Descent will be pressurization, recall check, auto brake set, landing data, VREF, approach briefing. I'm going to do a weather check really quick for you guys. Dame un ratito, por favor, mi gente. Estoy chequeando la clima, la temperatura, todo eso, las brisas. Okay, so far it's still 280. Altimeter is 3002. Guys, we can pre-plan that altimeter in here. This is a Boeing aircraft. So even though this says standard, we can still move the preset number to 3002. Remember, you want to stay ahead of your aircraft as much as possible because you don't have that co-pilot. This is essential that this stuff happen, guys. .3002 is preset in the first officer and the captain's altimeters. Okay, we'll get our V speeds and all that in there in a second. Let us talk about missed approaches and going missed. So we are approaching 2-8 left is what we're planning. I'm gonna get the ATIS here really quick. We should be able to get it before I start talking about missed approach on this particular one. Let's switch this over. 118085. Let's make sure that is legit. And let's step our range back. All right, so we got about 6 miles to go to our descent. Let's double check our ATIS. Yeah, 1885. Is that what we have? Okay, see, we don't have 1885, so let's fix that. And we still may be too high. Okay, so this one you can't do round robin, so I gotta pick 18 and go up. $1918.85. Let's see here. We started our descent. All right, guys. Check that out. All right, guys. So 1885. Now that we got the right one in there, we'll check our ATIS. 1885. It's correctly put in there. Let's try to tune in.
Francisco International Airport. ATIS information Bravo. 0256 Zulu. Wind 270 at 20. Visibility 10. Fuel clouds at 1000. Temperature 13. Dew point 6. Altimeter 3002. Arriving runway 28 right. Departing runway to right. 1 left. Visual approach is in use. VFR departures contact clearance delivery. Advise onward heading, altitude, and in flight following is requested. Notice to airman runway 10 right 28 left close. Read back all.
Okay, so
full short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Bravo.
all right, so information Bravo is current, and as suspected, we're going to be doing 28 right. So 28 right. Let me see what we can take that from. I believe it can take it from, let's see, 28 right. We can still get that from Archie. So still same thing. So let us once again make changes, guys. So you got to look and monitor our heading and see what we're direct. All right, so let's get ourselves on this heading mode quick. Let's see, I think that's more appropriate. All right, let's go ahead and make these changes right now, guys. We are direct diamond, 24 nautical miles. So now we got to come over here to departure and arrival and then select 28 right, Archie. Let's execute that now before we do anything. Diamond. Let me look at the star. So it's diamond, then lane. So there again, you got to go and do everything. So we got to come back in. We got to put the diamond 5 in your way. ILS 28 right. Execute that. Legs. So diamond. Okay. Once again. All right. Diamond. ILS 28 right. Archie. Execute. Legs. Okay. Diamond 5. In your way. ILS 28 right. Archie. Execute. Legs. So we were direct diamond. Let's take a look at our MF situation. Okay, we're still direct diamond. So that's perfect. So now we can just do this. We'll do diamond to this diamond. Oops. Clear. Now we're going to do this diamond to this diamond. Hit execute. Diamond lane always flows freely. Archie. Boom, boom. So we're going to execute that. And then we're still direct diamond. So now we'll go back into LNAV. There we guys. There we go. Now let's look at our descent here since VNAV went off. And we need to look and see where we're at. Flows. Flows needs to be between 19 and 14. So let's shoot for 14. And now I'm going to have to do a manual catch up. All right. Vertical speed. And flows, we're going to schedule for 14. So I'm going to come a little bit up. We're going to make this speed right now. We're going to switch this from the Mach to 290. Keep that legit. And you can see our descent is kind of back to where we need it. Flows, we need it. Let's see, Jane. Jane needs to be between 2.6 and 2.2. So let's get Jane where we need it, then we can get back on the VNAV. So let's get 2.2 at Jane.
Solid Morgan Brady, we're not picking up Cody's, we're just on a 006 heading for now.
Or at lane, I said Jane. I'll check you guys out in a minute. Lane, flight level 220 at 280. So that's where we need to go to 280.
Just enable there, Cody.
Enable, go direct, Cody, Logitech.
Now I'm curious, if we reactivate VNAV, it should be right on. Okay, VNAV path. So now we can go back to our 7,000 and see. We'll monitor it, but we'll just see if we should be right on. We should be okay now, guys, to keep with our descent. Calculate, putting in that, it lined up right where it was supposed to be. So back down to 7,000. Aircraft is not pitching down too entirely bad. We got 3,000 feet pitched down. We'll give it some speed brakes here in a second. It's coming back to idle. Let's check our message. It's going to say drag required. This we know. All right, guys. So now, okay, there we go. We got our flight plan all back in. It's bringing us all the way to the runway. Now we need to check our initial refs. Let me see. We said, let me check you guys out in the chat. Drewstone, let's get it. Been a windy all week on the West Coast. It sure has. Drewstone gave me the meter 18 minutes ago. Winds at 280, 20 knots, visibility. 28 right is what we're landing on. 3002 is the altimeter. Dave says been windy all week on the West Coast. Drew Stone says let's get it, Dre. Absolutely, Drew. Dave McKee says nicely done. Nice flight, man. Next plane looks great. What clouds weather is he using? And this is from Milan Bolden. Thanks for checking us out. What clouds weather is he using? Sorry if this asked before. Don't see it as. Okay, so I'm using Active Sky Next for the real weather plugin, and then the clouds themselves are just default. So I do use Active Sky. So this is not just everything default. Here's Active Sky right here. You can see we have it on, if you go home, we have it on live real-time weather mode. So I use active sky, and then I use the default clouds and X-plane. I have X and Viro too, guys, but sometimes to me the clouds look better default here, and it's less frames. If you guys see here, I got X and Viro right here. So I have X and Viro, but don't you dare connect that when this is on. You'll have a hard time in your life. Okay, guys, so we got the ATIS. Now it's time to replan, because remember we put these numbers in, but we got to change these numbers, guys. So now it's
contact NorCal 120.95.
NorCal approach 20.95, American 318. All right, guys, 2095. So we still got work to do. I told you guys it was going to happen quick. And it's information Bravo. NorCal approach, American 318, checking in with you. Flight level 207, descending via the Diamond 5. We have information Bravo on board. That's right. Drew said, don't you dare. And Bone says, I got you. Thanks.
NorCal, the San Francisco altimeter 3002, expect the visual approach coming 28 right.
3002, expecting visual 28 right for American 318. Now, don't let that fool you guys. He's saying expected visual, so we're going to do flaps. We're going to do flaps 25 because of the winds. You don't want to get too aggressive, and we need the approach course heading is the same, but we need to change the ILS. It's 111.7. You always want to have your ILS in there, even if they're giving you visuals. So 111.7, 111.7. Approach course 284, approach course 284. Check. So part of our checklist was getting our V speeds in, which we did. Now we're also going to do our auto brake. It's kind of windy, and I'm expecting to float the plane a little bit. So I'm going to go with the auto brake of at least 3. Depending on how the approach goes, I may switch that to 4 at the last minute. So we are definitely doing 3. And aircraft is continuing to... Now look at this, guys. We just passed transition altitude. Now it's saying standard. Now we don't have to do anything except hit the button. Just like in the 737. And most Boeing aircraft. All right, that's done. Let's go over here. And that's done. Sorry, with track IR, you got to be very careful. Now, if we're using radial altimeters, which we are, there's 200. We just have to make sure on the chart that's what the radial altimeter is supposed to be set to. So, in-flight charts, now we can pick our ILS localizer 28 right, which we did. Let's expand that. 111.7, 284, radio altimeter. Okay, this isn't giving us a radial here. Let's see. Oh, the parentheses of the radial altimeter. The decision height, if we just use the regular, we would put in 213, but we can still use the radial altimeter as well, which is radar. And you can come down here, decision height, do ILS. This is localizer glide slope out. Then you would change your decision height to radial 467 or on your barrel 480. So we're going to do 200. So we're going to use radial, but if we were using barrel, we would put in 213 for our altitude. That can also be seen up top. Greenlight went over this with me as well. I mean, I was kind of familiar with it, but he definitely keyed on some stuff. I just listened like a good student should. And it's also right here. Airport elevation is 13. And as you can see, airport elevation is 13. The decision height is exactly 200 feet above. That's why we're doing our radial altimeter for our callouts. Missed approach. We're going to go ahead and read that. We go missed. We climbed to 3,000 on the San Francisco VOR. Hit the radial 281 to VICU intersection, which is DME 12 nautical miles from San Francisco, and hold. Missed approach requires a minimum climb of 350 feet or or nautical miles to 19. So you got to make sure you're doing at least 350 on your vertical speed, up to 1900. If unable to meet climb gradient, CILS or localizer runway 28 left. Dave says he always uses barrel himself. I tend to just stick with radio. It works for me. The call outs are just fine. As long as you know how to use the two and you know what they are. 213 is a number that should be in the radio altimeter. Okay, so let's put that. And let me ask you this, green light. There's a radio and there's a barrel. Setting in the barrel should be the RA, but what I was taught, the radio altimeter is radar, so you could use that as well. But let's do what green light says. So let's put 213 in, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So here is the difference between using radar and using the barometric pressure. Again, radio, you can use that, and you put it in, and it's basically using the radar. You use barrel, we switch it to barrel. Now you're going to see that up here, barrel minimums right here, and we'll put that to 213. All right, there we go. So we got it set up. Radio altimeter RA. So there you go. So Dave says the odd time I fly a jet. So there we go. So we did it with the barrel. We put 213 in, so we still know how to do that. So that's been put in, and you know what? We're going to be coming up on 10,000 here in a few minutes. Let's decrease our range. And again, guys, now we have the ILS. Even if he says approved visual approach, guess what, guys? We can still put it on the ILS. Just going to get the landing lights on now.
NorCal 135.65.
Landing lights are on. Let's arm the speed brake right here. We also have our auto brakes, and we're going to run through a checklist right now, guys.
Yeah, NorCal, this is 23 Delta Tango, is about 2 miles from
pressurization is set. Let's hit recall.
14,000 for 11,000.
Recall is just drag required. So we're not going to worry about that right now. And actually, let's get some drag in there.
American 318, NorCal 135.65.
NorCal 3567, American 318.
3565.
Correction, 3565 for NorCal, American 318. All right, 3565. All right, I just took that brake off, even though you guys can't see it. I can hear the engine starting to power back up. NorCal approach, American 318 is at 10,000 descending via the Diamond 5.
American 318, NorCal report to San Francisco in sight.
Okay, we'll report to field once we have it inside American 318. All right, so auto brake is set, landing data is set, approach briefing is complete. Approach altimeters, they've been set, and we already just set our nav aids, guys. Landing, cabin speed brake arm, landing gear down, we haven't done that yet, so let's orientate ourselves. Let's go off the first officer side. So San Francisco, 1 o'clock should be roughly at the 2 o'clock position. There it is right there. NorCal approach, Delta, as you were. American 318 has San Francisco field in sight. Now we need to clear visual approach 28 right for American 318. All right, so we're clear for the visual. Now, guys, you know what we need to do? We need to get the next thing, which is our tower frequency, 20.5. So let's just keep that down here. And
NorCal approach, we have
20.5. All right, 20.5 is in. So now we have the tower. And once we start making our turn, let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. We got our ILS in. So we've got the glide slope active already. So we're going to keep that. And essentially what I can do now is put this down to 3,000. The aircraft will continue to descend how it wants to on its own. I'll do it to 3100 because I think Ponk is at 3100. You guys can see that glide slope coming down. We're less than 30 degrees. Let's see. We're at 240 and we need to be at 284. So we're not. So we're gonna wait.
Walker 169, Dunn's clearance clear to the Casper Airport. Billings 5 departure. Rudder vectors.
So we're still descending. Okay. We should always stay underneath the glide slope until it's time, guys. All right, guys. Landing lights are all on.
Gonna try to read this back with a straight face.
Let's see if we have any more announcements.
Billings 5 departure. Radar vectors crazy woman. Then as filed. Maintain 7000 departure 120.5. Squawk 4423. Walker 169.
For landing.
In every back direction. If you're going to tell me you're doing this flight for any other reason except you wanted to fly with a crazy woman to VOR, you're lying.
For your safety,
You copy.
we ask you to remain seated until the aircraft comes to a complete stop and the fastened seatbelt.
All right, guys, we're starting now. You never want to intercept, and not to mention, look, guys, the localizer horizontal stuff is not on here yet. So now at 260, we're under 30 degrees from 284, so we can go ahead and arm the localizer now. And it won't even let us simply because it will not let you arm it until it shows up here. So it hasn't even showed up yet because we're too far out from it. But we most certainly have got the glide slope captured, and aircraft needs to slow down now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the VS, and I'm going to start slowing the aircraft down to at least 210. I don't like the speed there. All right, guys, it's time, and we're speeding under the altitude that we need to be anyway. So let's slow us down. All right, we should be able to arm that localizer now. Bada bing, bada boom. Green light, but you don't know using barrel if your aircraft isn't radar terminal equipped. And what if barrel pressure changes in your approach at night? Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you. Green light. Hey, Stewart. You know. All right, guys. Flaps 1. Speed check. Once we get that localizer captured, flaps 5 speed check. Speed is checked. All right, guys, we're gonna make our final approach speed. Woo! 20 knots. We got a 20 knot headwind, guys, basically. So we're talking about keeping this thing about 160. We're gonna approach it about 160, guys. All right. That brake is back armed again. Localizer is captured. Now you can hit the approach button, guys. Now we are all set up to capture the glide slope. We can make sure this is at 3,000 for our missed approach. And of course, let's make our range bigger. And it's a good thing we are on the ILS. We do have some cloud coverage, so. All right, guys, we're just going to go ahead and bring her all the way down to 180. And that approach speed. We got to put some brakes back out, guys.
The 3 Delta Tango to center maintain 5,000.
There is the field there.
Send the 5,000, 3 Delta Tango.
Once this dot falls below this line between the full capture of the glide slope, we will definitely drop the landing gear and get to flaps 25. Let's see, flaps 25, minimum speed is 180, and that's what we're at now. Let's bring that back to 175 to be, we'll do about 170 there. We're still not quite where we need to be, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that landing gear now. Let's add some more drag up in here.
Number 3 Delta Tango, turn left heading 100.
Turn left to 100 for 3 Delta Tango.
Let's wait for the landing gear lock. Landing gear is down and locked. Let's go ahead and take that, put it back in there, and let's go full flaps for landing. All right, 25 is what I meant to say, guys. Caught myself. We'll keep us right about here until we get a little closer.
Number 3 Delta Tango to center maintain 3,000.
Down to 3,000.
All right, let's finish that checklist up. Okay, we did landing. That's good. And I'll check you guys out in the chat one more time. Checklist, cabin is checked, secure, landing gear, flap, speed brake, all down. You guys see everything turn to green really quick. Then there's a shutdown. Look at this, guys. So 60 and 60 is 120. So we're just going to be a few minutes late. Flying time was supposed to be, actually we might be right on time. It's 2 hours and 13 minutes. So we even could be a couple minutes earlier. I don't know about pulling into the gate though. And of course, the last thing we want up and prepared before I check you guys out is going to be charts. And let's expand.
3 Delta Tango, turn left heading 010, better visual approach.
Our parking situation.
Sorry, you cut out. What was that heading?
010.
010 for 3 Delta Tango.
Heading 318, San Francisco Tower, 120.5.
Over to San Francisco Tower, 20.5, American 318. All right, guys, so we got that chart. We got it all pulled up. Let us switch it over. San Francisco Tower, American 318 on the visual, 28 right.
Heading 318, San Francisco Tower, 2 right, to land.
Cleared to land, 28 right, American 318. All right, guys, speed is down. My aircraft.
The 3 Delta Tango, San Francisco Airport is at your...
Let's get it, guys. I promised to check on the chat, but I didn't quite get to it, so shame on me.
We've got it inside for 3 Delta Tango.
2 Delta Tango, clear to visual approach, runway 28 right, caution, right turbulence, 9 miles per trail to Heavy 767.
Okay, we got a guy right behind us.
Or caution wake turbulence and cleared for land for 3 Delta Tango.
Sorry, guys, I didn't get to you in the chat.
The visual approach.
Cleared for the visual. For
But I will.
Sorry.
Walker 380 contact at Salt Lake 133.4.
All right, we'll just keep it right here for right now. The winds really aren't doing us too bad because it's almost a direct headwind. Monitoring speed. Gotta pull back on that speed. This thing tends to get fast really easy.
Walker 380, Salt Lake to center maintain level 180.
Sorry, guys, I didn't even get you guys any controls on either.
1,000.
Don't try this at home. Alright, I got you guys some control on while I'm landing. Don't try that. Definitely don't try that at home. Now we're a little off center, just so I can make sure you guys are entertained. But that's what we do here in the Dre Sanchez channel. We take one for the team. We're a little off center, but we're okay.
500.
500 cross check. Speed is looking good.
Glide slope. Glide slope.
Yes, glide slope. We hear you crying for us, but we're right on the crosshairs.
Glide slope.
It's going to give us a terrain warning here in a minute.
Glide slope. Glide slope.
Minimums.
Landing.
Slope.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Hard landing. I can't believe it. I mean, we tried to float that thing as much as possible. The speed was good. Still realistic landing. I swear I cannot get a good landing. I mean, that thing was just... Alright, reverse free. We'll take it though, guys. I mean, I just don't know how that was a hard landing, man. We flared and we got to take a look at that. I disagree, but it is what it is, guys. Alright. Let's start cleaning up the aircraft. I thought it was beautiful. I don't care what that thing... And it's only -3 something, guys, so that was beautiful. I mean, we got down. We did what we needed to do. Flaps are coming up. Speed brakes are coming back on. We're on Delta. San Francisco Tower, American 318, clear of 28 right, holding short 28 left on Delta.
American 318, cross runway 28 left at Delta, join Alpha parking, monitor ground.
Okay, cross 28 left on Delta to Alpha and monitor ground, American 318. All right, guys, so
FedEx 95 to 75 crash, maintain.
We got to keep the landing lights on to cross that. Let's get those flaps up. I don't know, what do you guys think about that landing, man? I think it was pretty dope, honestly. And you know what? Nice, anytime you want to Discord me, we can look like the reference point of how high you were was off a bit. You know, I don't think so, Chief. The other day I got butter in this. You know, just one of those things. And maybe if I fly it more, will do. But I've buttered this thing plenty of times. Appreciate you on that, though. You know, probably the problem too, I shouldn't have got the controls on, but I don't care. Like I said, man, we can't get so wrapped up in what's a hard landing and what's not. It's a realistic landing. Lots of aircraft land -3s all the time. You can go look at the statistics. So me personally, I'm cool with it. As long as I didn't break the landing gear, hey, I can live with it, guys. All right. Appreciate everybody riding along. APU generator is off. Let's get it on. And we got to figure out what the ground frequency is, which is probably 1219. Chief says, oh, okay, LOL. Yeah, and I know it's not beloved, Chief. It's all good, but, you know, I'm not so fixated on just getting my feet per minute perfect. You got to look at center line. You got to look at where you touch down on the runway. You know, it's a realistic landing. If you go look at statistics on these aircraft, a lot of people butter them all the time, but a lot of people, they get -3. I say you start pushing -4, -5, something like that. Yeah. So it was a hard landing, but more close on the soft hard landing, if you will. So plus with that wind, which really didn't seem like it was an issue. So, you know, hey, any landing that's realistic, in my opinion, I'm straight. You know, it just wasn't smooth. I have plenty of butters on my channel. You guys can see that. But then on some of those butters, I'm left or right at the center line. Chief, you talking to Chief. I get it. I'm just saying it dropped. Hey, nice trip. Yeah, I wasn't saying nothing, Chief. I was just rambling. Yeah, it's all good. I mean, obviously, that's what we want to do. We want to strive for the thing to say butter, you know. But we also need to strive for center line. We also need to strive for the touchdown marks as well. So, it's a work in progress, baby. And Chief definitely has some great landings on his. He definitely takes it personal when he doesn't land with the butter or great. And at the end of the day, it's all about process improvement. You know, the flight as a whole, I think was a great flight. And I mean, I was in the military for many years, as well as flying civilian. Every landing just is not peachy keen. So my last couple of landings haven't been that hot, but then you got other landings that are great. But even some of my butter landings, I find that I see stuff wrong with it. Like I'm left the center line, I floated, you know, over the, you know, target landing blocks, but I'm still in the touchdown zone. So I really enjoy doing this, and partly the reason I'm saying that too is I don't want to get in my own head like, oh, everything's got to be a perfect landing, because it's just not going to be a perfect landing. And Chief, man, congrats to you and other streamers that fly multiple aircraft, man, and land them well. So my hats are definitely off to all of you guys who strive to be the best. And you know, I really just enjoy doing this period and having landings. Didn't say I wasted the landings, the landing gear and all that. So we're almost to our gate, folks, for this long journey. Yep, Dave says I beg to differ, all about having fun, and I agree. That's the research side of me. LOL, hard on self-assessment and evaluation. I know, Chief. And sometimes I even want to go on your stream and just be like, hey, Chief, man, you did a great landing, brother. Forget the landing rate monitor. If it doesn't say you crashed your landing gear, if it's a realistic landing, again, you guys can literally, we didn't monitor ground. That's the only thing we're breaking the rules on. If you guys go and look at the average landing rate of certain aircraft and certain airports, you're going to be surprised. A lot of them are in the 3s. A lot of them are where this thing would say a hard landing. You know, obviously a lot of them are going to be in the 2s, the 1s, and even some, you know, definitely, you know. Now let's say I flew this aircraft every single day and then I had that type of landing, maybe I'd beat myself up a little bit. But you guys see the variety that I fly. You guys see the variety that Chief flies, that Geo flies, that Captain Shaq flies. Even Dave on this channel, he's flying different ones. And yeah, you know, I'm very proud of everybody that's a content creator. Just my own personal take on it. Have fun, do the best you can, process, improve, and I can enjoy the fact that I've flown this plane that I'm never probably going to fly in real life, follow the procedures, get a realistic landing that happens in the real world on real flights every day. And because all my landings are not hard landings. All right, guys, we're going to go out and get the outside look, see where we are at.
Contact Salt Lake 133 point. Correction, Salt Lake 133.4.
All right, guys, we have officially made it in. We have officially made it in. We should have got these lights off first.
330 down to 6,000. Walk 380.
All right, guys, we're shutting this bad boy down. We're about to get off on Pilotedge. We're gonna come down here and take our transponder off and get that red beacon off, of course. And of course, turn the APU bleeds on, packs off. And guys, we are seriously about to get into a landing replay. We're just going to put the isolation valves on just because we can. We'll leave that door open. Let's get all our trim airs off. Of course, the first officer definitely would have done some of this.
Number 3 Delta Tango, keep it rolling through the intersection
of
both runways and turn right at Echo.
Alright, we'll keep it rolling and turn right at Echo.
Who's ready for a replay? Let me check the chat out. Let's see. Hey, damn, I just missed it. Okay, great stream, Dre. Gonna head watch Hunt for Red October. Love that movie with Sean Connery. Thanks, everybody, for checking in. And Shaq says, great movie. Chief, everybody, maybe fair enough. Yeah, I agree. You were very high. Yeah, I probably was pretty high, guys. We're gonna check it right now. Let's Dave McKee says the 767 and the 757 are beasts to land, Dre. Yeah, like I said, I'm happy with it. There's always room for improvement. I for sure know that, for sure. You guys got to remember, I was in the military, and I'm going to tell you a story. When I first joined the military, guys, I could not shoot to save my life. I just couldn't shoot. M16A2 gas-powered rifle. I just couldn't shoot, man. There was nothing. I got smacked in the head, smacked around by my drill sergeants. They went physical with me. I got physical back with them. Didn't work out too well for me, of course. They gave me the beat down. But I tell you what, over time, you know, practice made perfect. And, you know, I was an expert shooter by the time it was said and done. So, hey, this is probably my 4th flight in this aircraft. In winds, got a hard landing. You know, let's work on it. Let's see exactly what happened. A little flyby going on there. Let's get rid of me and let's take a look and see what happened, man. Of course, we know I was probably too high. Either way, man, that just means you guys will definitely be seeing me and more flying this aircraft. We gonna get it to where we getting good landings every day. Oh, there she goes right over our head. Ooh, yeah. Appreciate everyone flying aboard today. From Denver nonstop all the way over to San Francisco. Check this flare out. Let's see what really went down here on the Dre Sanchez YouTube channel. See ya. Sim Aviator, see ya. Take care. Thanks for a good trip. Appreciate you all. All right. Now, I know we did do a little float, like I pitched up right there, got the flare. I was trying to hit those runway blocks. Missed them. Flared up a little bit. Here goes the flare. We held it, flared back down. That's what did it right there. That's why we had the hard landing right there. That's why we did the hard landing. That last little move. Watch this. I'm going to drop the nose and then pull it back up. That's the mistake right there. That's the hard landing. That's just an invitation to slam the back wheels down. So that's what happened. I was a little slightly high, but that's not why. The reason why I dropped the nose, I should have kept the nose up and just reduced speed. I dropped the nose and then try to bring it back up and it just slammed it down. That's why the landing was hard right there, guys. Everything else looked controlled. See, teetering right here. Now, if I would have just dropped the speed gradually, it would have came down. But instead, I forced it down. Bam. And that's exactly why. We had a hard landing, but still a good landing. Look how close to center line we were. But still left of center line a little bit. So, after close review, we were slightly high. Speed was good. Oops. Speed was good. What happened, I pitched down and then pitch up at the last minute, and also trying to get center. You can see I'm a little left of center. I'm trying to work on the center. Look at that. So landing gear just a little bit left of center line. And yeah, you can see the reversers are on, but my surfaces aren't being modeled again. So guys, we're not even playing around today. We're gonna come back from all the way over here. Let's see. Let us do something here to make this a little bit more user-friendly. There we go. I'm just going to take it off the track IR view. And this is the view we're going to have. Green light auto brokers. Now you know what to correct next time. Great job regardless. For sure, green light. I appreciate you, baby. Absolutely. You know, and it's just the little small things we work on. I know what to correct. I won't even say that I won't do it again, but at least at this point, we got a good idea of what's going on. I'm almost inclined to do a different view. Let's see. See, we can't do that view because I do like this view as well. And we'll go back to the wing view. There we go, guys. We're going to ride it in. I just want to say that I do appreciate you guys. It's all gravy, baby, here on the channel. I appreciate everybody's input, advice, knowledge, sharing more about your personal life, what you like, and just generally staying along during the trip. I want to say God bless everybody. Thanks for joining me and supporting me in the channel. Obviously, I want everybody to support everybody. So if you're in the chat, there's plenty of content creators that were on this flight. Check them out. Check their channel out. Give them a follow. Support them if you like this sim aviation thing. And we will continue to grow the simulation arena together. God bless, peace, love, and harmony, and hope to see you guys soon on the next stream on the Dre Sanchez YouTube channel. Gone.